The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your SuperChats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
It's the day after a brutal Jet loss in London. Trust me, I was there. I know. Where do the Jets go from here? We'll talk about that and much more with Will Parkinson in his weekly spot on the show. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started. Man.
You have to understand the Jet fan in America and what they've gone through the last 13 years and really the last 55 years of not winning the Super Bowl.
We bleed Jet green each and every day. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. I'm rocking Yankee gear because I'm headed to the Bronx tonight for Game 2 against the Royals this evening, and I hope the Yankees can win after what the Jets gave us yesterday. Joining us right now in his weekly spot is the great Will Parkinson. Will, appreciate you hopping on. A lot of people want to know if I'm jet lagged. I'm not jet lagged, but I am still disgusted by what we saw yesterday, 24 hours ago, against the Minnesota Vikings. But I want to start with this because after rewatching the game and thinking a lot about it, even though I still blame the head coach, I certainly will criticize Nathaniel Hackett. After rewatching the game, this to me was a lot about just players not making plays, right? Alan Lazard with his drops, Aaron Rodgers throwing uncharacteristic passes, missing Garrett Wilson at the end that could have won the game, the interception that was returned the other way for 6. Like, there were plays to be made for the Jets. So while coaching is still a problem, after rewatching the game, to me, it was more of a combination of players not executing and obviously the coaching remaining a problem. But I just want to get your thoughts on that now 24 hours removed.
Yeah, I think yesterday was a combination of things. Look, I think at the end of the day, right, always every loss is it's not just one person, right? Like, the Jets didn't lose to the Broncos just because Robert Saleh. Like, there was many different reasons. I think the biggest thing right now that's kind of killing the Jets a little bit is a little bit of a victim mentality, a little bit of a feeling sorry for myself mentality. Not everyone, but feels like there's certain guys, there's certain moments where it's I don't know, it's just like you're getting out toughed a little bit. And I didn't feel that the first 3 weeks at all, actually. I feel like the Niners game, they got walked all over. They responded, I thought, quite well. That 6 quarters between Tennessee and New England. And I know they're not good teams, and we can have the debate about all that different stuff, but no Moses, no Mosley. I think you're seeing that a little bit. And maybe, again, not that Sherwood and Olu have been bad players by any means. I'm not saying that. Those guys are tone setters from a physicality and kind of leadership perspective. And I feel like they've missed that. I thought Rodgers played by far his worst game as a Jet. All that said, I think he was, felt a ton of pressure and was forcing things he normally would not force because, whether it's, the receivers dropping it, Lazard 4 drops. I mean, Lazard catches that ball, the Jets win the game. Sauce Gardner catches any of the interceptions, makes any of the plays, at all. They potentially win that game. They obviously, the 4th down, right? Like, everyone was to blame yesterday. I just felt like bad Rodgers games mixed with like pretty bad everybody else games is not, DJ Reed was really good yesterday, I thought. Leonard Taylor had a big, there was guys that had moments for sure. But if you get a bad Rodgers game mixed with no Breece at all, because I don't know what's going on with Breece Hall. I mean, he doesn't look good at all. Like, it's not just, there's holes open, guys. Like, I know people want to just blame the offensive line and stuff, and the scheme isn't great. The toss play to Breece Hall to the left side, Jake, on 2nd and 7, I'm not sure where, or 1st and 10, I'm not sure where you were seated, but that play in the last 2 years is a touchdown for Breece Hall. And he gained 2 yards, didn't break a single tackle, and kind of just like went down. And I don't know if he's not seeing it. I don't know. There was just a lot yesterday to me that was like, it was pretty all awful, and they realistically should have not only beaten the Vikings but beaten them comfortably. And it's a glass half full or glass half empty. Like I'm not sure they could play worse in the first half, right? Like it's as bad as you're going to play.
They didn't get a first down to the second quarter,
and they probably, if Rodgers just overthrows Mike Williams there and they get another shot at it, they're probably beating the Vikings in London. So again, I'm not trying to paint a crappy picture with pretty colors, but listen, man, like I'm not I'm not overly fully concerned about going forward. It's just that this has got to get corrected and corrected quickly, because as bad as the rest of the AFC is, that doesn't really, the Jets will win games. It doesn't quite matter.
That's kind of how I look at it too, right? Like on one hand, yesterday was awful. On the other hand, these last two games, they're not being blown out. It's plays here or there that if they correct, they could win. And I really think rewatching the game, look, in their 2 wins this year, they had over 100 yards rushing. In their 3 losses this year, this is a Jets team that has had under 3 yards per carry. You brought up Breece Hall already. That to me is a major problem. Certainly we could get more into that, but just seeing some of the all 22 on film, and Andrew Fialco from JetX will join us tomorrow for more on this. But this was making the rounds on Twitter earlier. This is Brendan Bates, the 3rd string tight end, whose job is to block. Watch him on all these run plays. Like, you want to see why the Jets struggled so mightily to run the football? This is a big reason why, just a lack of guys being able to execute here. And look, Aaron Rodgers didn't play well, but him throwing 54 times and taking the beating he's taken, that simply cannot happen. The whole premise of the season was, you might not get MVP Aaron Rodgers at age 40, but he's going to be the best quarterback you've had since 2015 Fitz. He's not going to turn it over, which is something he did yesterday for the first time as a Jet. He's going to go out there and be able to manage the offense and win you games late, which he couldn't do. But he's also taken 21 hits and 9 sacks the last 2 games. I thought he was done when he went down yesterday, watching that play in real time. So they got to protect him better. And the way to protect him better is to run the football better. And it all starts with getting this run game going, because in their 2 wins this year, guess what? They had the run game going.
Yeah, look, I think a couple different things you mentioned there. I think the run game is a mixture of scheme. It's a mixture of offensive linemen not doing the right job. It's a mixture of running backs not hitting the right hole. It's also a mixture of the Jets being predictable. And when they come out and it's Ruckert and Conklin, or it's Ruckert, Conklin, and Bates, like, it's obviously a run, and it's extremely predictable from a personnel perspective. The only guy that, from a tight end perspective, when they're on the field, it's generally could be run past is Conklin. When it's Ruckert, like, I don't have the exact stats on me right now. I'll find it for the next time we're on here, but like, I bet you it's high 70s, low 80s minimum. Bates being in the game yesterday, I understand wanting to be able to be multiple and have bigger bodies. They're not carrying a fullback, obviously, but maybe it's not Sal Thomas. Sure. That's not the right idea. But like right there, that play, it's a bad block, but like Ruckert and Bates just blocked each other. Bates totally misses on this play. Obviously, again, this is like guys that are just like, the game's moving too fast, and it's okay. I understand, like, he's a guy they were hoping to develop and a guy they were hoping to, get the most out of, et cetera. And right, he's like a waiver wire pickup, had a really nice preseason. Oh, that's great. It's not working, and this is just adjust. Alan Lazard's a really good blocker from a receiver perspective. When you hopefully get Devontae Adams, we'll see if that happens. And even if you don't, why can't Lazard be a big slot for you? Why can't you put Lazard in and use him the way the Rams use Robert Woods back in the day, and Cooper Kupp and all these different guys, the way the Niners use, some of their different, personnel groupings, et cetera. To me, the Packers used to do that with Lazard. Motion him inside. He's a crack block guy. That's the infamous block against, Miami, which he springs a massive Aaron Jones run. So, the run game right now, Rodgers mentioned it, passing to open up the run. That's what they did against New England. That's what I felt like they did against New England. That's what they did against Tennessee. All of a sudden, once Tennessee, couldn't just sell out against the run, all of a sudden the run game, opened up, because the pass game had opened up for him. So, I'm of the mindset that this stuff, again, is mostly fixable. Robert Saleh is not going to turn into a top 5 head coach by the end of the year. And Nate Hackett's not going to become, McVay. Like, that's fine. It's not fine, but it is what it is. They have too much talent to be this piss poor. And it's both mental errors, and it's also guys just like, take a step back. I think a lot of these guys there's so much pressure for this team to be good and this offense to be good that I feel like guys are pressing so hard and they're just gripping and they can't talked about a little bit last week. I felt like that was the problem. Like Garrett finally felt like it was like, oof. He kind of in the second half yesterday was like, oh, that's Garrett Wilson. That's the first time this year I was like, that's Garrett.
Yep.
That
was literally my thought in the seats. That's so funny you said that. I go, that's the Garrett I know. I said that to my buddy Anthony. I was
playing a little bit more free, stop gripping the ball so tight. I mean, yeah, don't fumble obviously, but to me, I'm of the mindset that most of this stuff feels fixable. Not all of it for sure, but most of it feels fixable. And the running game needs to get going, but it's also the Jets got to stop getting their quarterback put in positions where
he's thrown 54 times.
He doesn't need, and if you're going to throw 54 times, it's going to be a quick game. It's going to be a lot of stuff where the ball's out of his hands. Him dropping Rodgers in his peak was not throwing 54 times. It's never been his game. It's never been Brady. That's never Peyton's the only guy that was high 40s. You know what I mean? Rodgers and Brady, part of what made them so good is they didn't need 50 attempts. They needed 30 attempts, and they'd throw for 275 to 325, 2 or 3 touchdowns. That's where the Jets are getting lost. I know they were losing yesterday, but Rodgers, the New England game's a perfect example. Red Rodgers got 27 to 35. Yeah, that's kind of comfortably where you want to be around. Being up to the 50s to me it's not good. Doesn't matter who you could have Mahomes right now. When Mahomes throws 60 times, the Chiefs are not as good of a football team. It's just a fact.
Here's the thing too, right? When you play the Bills coming up, you look at how the Bills have played this year. When the Ravens destroyed them, what do? They ran the ball down their throat. When the Jets have beaten the Bills the last 2 years, they've had a lot of success running the football. They have to get this running game going because I still think Aaron Rodgers is capable of being a very good quarterback, but he can't take a beating. And as Rex Ryan would say, your quarterback doesn't get hit on a running play, and they got to protect Rodgers better. That goes without saying. Hopefully Morgan Moses is back this week with the extra day. He could go out there and play. But staying with the running game, because I think that's the biggest thing for this team right now, because the whole premise of the season, was built around Brees being what Terrell Davis was for John Elway at the end of his career, and that just hasn't happened to this point. This was Brian Baldinger on his Twitter account posting a film breakdown on more issues the Jets have had with their running game.
This is a problem for the Jets right now. The run game is almost non-existent. This is a basic inside zone play. All right? You got a 6-man front right here. You should be pushing right here. Tippmann and Simpson right here to Ivan Pace. Tyron Smith is going out here on Jonathan Greener. All right? There it is. They're blocking it wrong. And so Ivan Pace comes free. All right? So whatever's happening up front, all right, it's not being communicated properly. This is not a difficult play at all. These two are pushing up to Cashman. All right, Olivier Tucker's got Phillips. You'd be pushing right here to Ivan Pace, number 0. That's what you should be doing. But when you don't, Ivan Pace comes free. And this is the reaction to Aaron. Aaron's looking at this going, his reaction says it all. And it says everything about the run game right now. What are we doing? And I don't blame them. What are they doing? It's a problem.
So who is that on?
What are we doing?
Is that a Hackett thing? Is that Keith Carter? Is Rodgers not adjusting something at the line if he checked out of a pass to a run there and guys don't know who's responsible? Because that to me is the biggest problem with this offense right now. They have more than enough talent on this offense to be much better than points per game wise through 5 games last year, 93 total points, same amount of points this year. And obviously we know Rodgers is light years better than Zach Wilson. So what is the issue with this offensive line running game situation?
Yeah, so I think it's a couple of different things. I was just looking here. I was just watching back a few plays while you were talking there. I think coach. This to me feels like a coaching thing. Whether it's Keith Carter, whether it's Hackett and Carter, I think that's usually a combination of both. These guys, look, Simpson had his worst game as a Jet yesterday. He'd been pleasantly surprising through 4 weeks. He was a pumpkin yesterday. He got Rodgers almost decapitated, on one. This feels more like a coaching, and this is guys just it's a newer group playing together. But to me, this is on coaching. Rodgers, again, I think Rodgers checked in and out of certain plays yesterday that were a little uncharacteristic. He's missed this kind of front side or backside blitz multiple times, which has been, a bit surprising. But yeah, overall, man, this is I guess this is my kind of most overall point, and I feel like this sounds like I'm being harsh on them, and maybe I am. There's a team need to. Robert Saleh kind of said they're going to police themselves, right? That's been his motto, and I think that good locker rooms are able to police themselves, and the Jets players like being able to do that. I don't know that they're policing themselves right now. It doesn't feel, in my opinion, like look at Quincy Williams' comments, Garrett Wilson's, Tyler Conklin's. We got to be accountable. Aaron Rodgers, we got to be accountable. We got to hold each other accountable. Enough of the BS, enough of the excuses, enough of this is why this didn't happen. This is what I know. Players only meetings are like mostly kind of dumb in a lot of senses. It's just like baseball too, and it's like players only meeting. Like, dude, okay,
not for the Mets.
Not for the Mets.
They've been the best team in the world.
I think sometimes it has to come together and be like, hey, man, like not the start we wanted, but season's right here. We're gonna police ourselves. Can everyone just relax? And also, it's a grown man's game. Coming into these games and saying and not fully being as physical as you need to be at points at certain guys. Look, I'll be honest with you. Like, Sauce has been really disappointing this year, man. Like, and it's not necessarily a coverage thing at all. He didn't have a good game in Tennessee, but like he has been a net super negative in the run game. And I know that's not what you're paid to do. He's paid to cover guys, but he is paid to tackle people too. I'm not asking Sauce to be Charles Woodson or Charles Tillman. I'm asking Sauce to be maybe league average or even slightly below average in the run game. Right now, the biggest run of the day for the Vikings yesterday was Sauce did not want to take on a block or did not properly take on a block. I don't want to question his toughness, but and he didn't take it on. They got lucky it was a block in the back call because it was like a 35-yard run that was pretty embarrassing. The Niners ran at him. And on the other side, I don't know that Breece Hall is necessarily running as hard as I've seen him run in the past. Again, I'm not questioning him in terms of toughness and what kind of player he is. I'm not seeing this explosive back hitting the hole with like uber confidence. Like I gave him the excuse of the weather last week. Both guys, I feel like love them. They're awesome. They're going to be awesome. They're going to get it right. But the performance through 5 weeks, specifically the last 2, has been really, really disappointing. And Sauce 2 times now, he's going out of the game injured, but then randomly comes back in, but he's cleared, but he's not hurt. I don't know what's going on there, man. But like, that's again, got to get, I'm not saying he should go back in the game if he had a concussion. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if he did have a concussion and he's on the sidelines and has his helmet on, doesn't come in for 2 quarters, and then randomly comes in the game at the end. Like, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's coaching, Sauce, whoever. That stuff's got to not happen. Like, he's your best defensive player or one of your 2. He's either in the game or he's not. You're either locked in or you're not. DJ Reed, super physical, was awesome yesterday. Like, I don't care.
He's been awesome for this entire season, by the way.
Again, Sauce getting a penalty, who cares, man? Like, I get it. Some of them were soft, some of them weren't. But I can't take the olaying on tackling. That to me is just try. Like, I'm not asking you to be a big hitter. I'm asking you to make an effort so that the guys behind you can clean up, because teams now, and I can guarantee it'll happen with Buffalo, they won't run the ball a lot, but I guarantee you they're going to run at Sauce Gardner the entire time, because that's what you should do until he proves, hey, man, I'm willing to stick my nose in there and tackle somebody.
Well, the other thing is, too,
I'm going to be sure. I'm not questioning these guys long term. I'm just telling you that it looks like a lot of I'm pressuring myself to be this amazing player, but I'm kind of not meeting that force head on as much as I should be. And it's reflecting in missed tackles. And I don't know if Breece has broken a tackle this year. I actually don't remember a single tackle he's broken. Maybe I'm wrong. Have you seen one? Do you remember one specific, like, ooh, nice move?
No, he hasn't looked like anywhere close to the Breece we thought was going to be, in the conversation for best running back in the league. And that's what I go back to, right? Like, people are killing Rodgers today. And look, he wasn't good. He threw 3 interceptions. You said it best. It was his worst game out of the 5 he's played as a Jet. But he's in a spot where he's been hit now 21 times the last 2 games. He shouldn't be throwing 54 times in a game, especially if you're only going to end up scoring, 17 points. Like, this team was supposed to be built with the running game. I think Rodgers' comments after the game were interesting in basically saying, hey, we're going to have to throw to set up the run because it's not working. Like, the Jets are telling you they want to be this run-first team. Well, maybe they can't do it, so they're going to have to switch it up. They get an extra day to get healthy and be recharged for this Bills team that's coming in playing some awful ball. So you got to find a way to get it done. But to your point on Sauce, I wanted to hit on, he's got to catch that pass in the end zone. Like, I'm sorry. You don't get a lot of opportunities to get picks because teams don't throw your way. He's still very good in coverage, but he needs to meet the moment when there's an opportunity to make a game-changing play, and that was the moment right there. The defense played very well yesterday. It's hard to nitpick, but that's a nitpick, but it's something that you got to do if you want to be, a $30 million a year corner. Like, Sauce is a good corner. He's played that way this year. First 2 years, he was a historically great corner for someone of his age. For the Jets to kind of get back to that level, they need their best players to be their best players. It's good to see Garrett Wilson have a game like we're accustomed to seeing from him, but they need Sauce and Brees to get back to being what they were and what we thought they were going to be going into the season.
Yeah, look, man, I guess I would phrase it this way. I actually think that I always joke with the listeners and the viewers, but I actually think that it'd be really hard for me to find somebody that doesn't agree with this, which is shocking. Going into the year, the reason you felt the Jets were division title or a playoff level team, and I still believe this, or even potentially a Super Bowl contender, was the talent on this roster, specifically at all these premium spots, whether it had been unfortunate with Jermaine and Reddick. Obviously, one's in control, one's not in your control. And Quentin Williams, this defensive line, the corners, this defense as a whole, but like premium spots, the Jets were awesome at corner, linebacker, defensive line. Offensively, Garrett, Mike Williams, Brees, an offensive line that had tackle figured out, really solid group, and they had the quarterback that could at least play top 10 to 14 football minimum or maximum. Sorry, I mean, like, whatever, like in that range, and obviously ideally better, but like in that somewhere in that range, you felt like the coaching didn't even need to be excellent. This talent was so good, and these guys are going to take this big leap. Garrett, until yesterday, had been at best mid. I think he's gotten better. Mike Williams finally had a stinker. He had been playing really well. I think you felt like Tyron Smith and Moses would be really good. I think they both had moments where they've looked really good. I think both guys are still not kind of fully clicking yet. AVT's starting to look better, but like hasn't fully gotten back, in my opinion, yet to full AVT, which, I think it'll take time. He's only 5 weeks in, played some really good fronts. Tittman, I think, has had nice moments the first couple of weeks, but I thought it has not been that good the last 2 weeks. In my opinion, had one really bad snap yesterday. Again, I know it's one snap, but like, snap the ball. Brees not taking any type of step and actually taking a step back into being not a good back at all at the moment, just for the last, especially the last couple of weeks. And Sauce not being a dominant force at corner, and then no Jermaine and no Reddick. Like, 3 of your top, 7 players have either not played, injured for the year, or not played to their performance or their standards. So it's just, that's where it's like, these guys should get it corrected. Like, I don't feel like Brees is going to play this all year. And I don't feel like I feel like Garrett's finally yesterday. Like I said to you, I feel like he finally, when he had that drive and that touchdown, it was like, hey man, we don't want to hear you complain about targets. You're getting the balls is more. I think it's like the fourth most the guys got in any game, right?
22 targets yesterday. Yep.
So I guess, again, I know it's probably a long-winded way of saying that. It's like, I'm not worried about these guys long term, but especially in Brees's case, like, I know running backs dependent on a lot of things. It's not dependent on you learning where to hit a hole or you making a guy miss. Again, no one can help you if you get hit 6 yards by the line of scrimmage. Like, that's not on Brees Hall. But that's not every run. Like, let's not pretend as if every single time Brees Hall touches the football, he can't possibly make a positive yardage. He can't possibly catch it. I mean, he's not been good in pass pro either. I'd rather see Braylon Allen right now in pass pro and let him leak out as a secondary option, and Brees Hall be just a guy that running routes. Like, maybe Brees Hall is just going to line up as a slot guy for the next, for next week. And that's what he's going to do. And he'll carry the ball some and like let him get his confidence back that way. You know what I mean? It's got to stop with the excuses, the weather, the travel. Dude, I get it, man. Like, it sucks. But the Jets have to stop with this mentality, personally, in my opinion, of, oh man, oh poor me. You see that 3 games, 11 days, and then we had to do this and it rained. Like, no, man, go grab it. Like, oh, it rained. That sucks. Rodgers talked about this last week. It rains. Great. Guess what? You're more experienced than anybody playing in the rain every week. Why aren't you a better rain team than the next team? Or, oh, we travel all the time. We're ready to go on a short week. We're going to be more prepared than you because we know what this is like. We do this all the time. So I know it's probably cliche, but like, football is a man's game. And at the end of the day, football is about, do you want it more than the other guy? And can you mentally be better than the other team? You limit mistakes. Stop dropping the football. Like, it's that simple. Rodgers might not have played good yesterday. Rodgers could have had 5 touchdowns if they catch the football. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the point. Like, if Breece Hall, again, he can control what he can control. Bro, when they perfectly block up your signature play that you've scored like these amazing touchdowns on throughout your career so far, and you basically literally run for 2 yards, or don't basically, you literally run for 2 yards and just go down. Like, that's not on the coaching. The coaching sucks for sure on offense, and the coaching at the head coach spot. And last thing on this, and I know I'm rambling here, but Joe and Connor hit on this on Badlands, and I couldn't echo it more. I understand Salah's not going to be fist pumping every 2 seconds, and I understand sometimes he gets kind of screwed by the camera. Like, I get it. He does get – it's unfortunate. Sometimes I'm like, man, he gets caught in the worst. But, like, can you look like you give a bleep and you want to be there? Even if it's just a normal stare and if, like – but, like, Jake, if I got on your show, man, and you just didn't look like you wanted to be hosting it, why am I going to give my effort? Guys feed off that. If my head coach, whose biggest selling points were like defensive scheme and then his energy, his leadership, his excitement, getting guys to run through a wall for him, if like you're kind of just staring into space, that camera angle or not, I don't know, man. If I'm looking over, I'm like, oh, damn, down 17-0. Our coach doesn't care, or our coach is kind of defeated. That's why you're going to police the locker room. Those guys got to police it. And they do need Moses and CJ back this week badly.
Well, I look at it like this too. Some of the comments from the players afterwards, what Quincy said about accountability, what Garrett said after the game about how, we expect to come back and to compete. It's not good enough that we made it a game. And just some of the things that Rodgers has talked about with accountability. Like, I do get the sense that the players are fed up, and we're at a crossroads right now in this season with the Bills coming to town. And, I don't want to say all's forgotten that they win on Monday night, but they went on Monday night. They could totally flip the narrative on what this season can be. They'd be in first place, have a head-to-head win over the Buffalo Bills. The AFC East is not good. There's like maybe 3 very good teams, and the rest is kind of just mid right now. So it's all right in front of them. But the thing on Salah that I would say too, after the game, like, I don't want to hear, well, the defense did its job, and, I appreciate the fight this team showed. Like, I'm not saying you got to go up there and throw the podium at Rich Samini, but I would like to see this guy be a little more angry. Like, I thought Quincy's tone afterwards being like, people are tired of hearing the same bleep. Like, I love that. Like, that's what we as fans want to hear. Like, I need more from the head coach there. And I do think, well, I don't know if Jeff Ulbrich, let's say, would solve everything. Like, I do think you get more of that from Ulbrich if they did make a change and they lost to the Bills on Monday night. Well, like, that's where I think Salah's got to be more feisty. He's got to have more passion up there, because I do think this team could use the energy boost from the head coach being more pissed off after games like that.
Yeah, look, and again, we're not in the locker room, right? We don't know what happens day to day. We don't know what he's saying to guys. So again, it's unfair to fully say that, right? Like, not to sound like Michael K here, but like, I get pissed at Aaron Boone with this crap too. And, again, I don't know what Aaron Boone's saying, but I can kind of guess. I think I have a long enough sample size to guess. Part of, again, why I liked Quincy's comments, Garrett's comments, Rodgers' comments back-to-back weeks, he's been fantastic in pressers being like, my standard wasn't good enough. We need to be accountable. X, Y, and Z. Sometimes I just wish Salah would read the room and, like, not give the fan base a bone, because, again, once you start thinking and acting like a fan, that's how you go and, go up and sit with them, and the whole, that whole, sports talk radio in New York, kind of saying, and I get it, but it would have been nice yesterday to be like, hey, man, the way we started sucked. It is unacceptable for our team to start the way we started yesterday. I love our fight. I love our resolve. I love the way we came back and fought and tried to win that football game. But I wish we'd have done that over 4 quarters, and we won't be doing that the rest of the season. Our guys know better. We know better. We'll get it right. Like, what's so wrong with saying that? Did I criticize anybody outwardly specifically? Did I tell anybody that they sucked? Am I crushing players' confidence? Am I crushing the 2024 athlete? No, I'm not. I'm just telling the fan base what they want to hear, but also telling you the truth a little bit. Again, I understand it's a line business in terms of some of these pressers, and we love what the other team did. We got to respect them. I get it, man. All that's fine. But what's so wrong with just saying we were not good enough yesterday, the first 30 minutes of the football game, and we have got to be better? What's so wrong with that? And showing like I'm pissed off. Don't be pissed off just about athletic articles written about you in the offseason, and pissed off because you got misquoted on the cadence thing. Be pissed off because you lost a football game. That's what I'm looking for from people. And I don't think Sal's a bad guy. I don't think he's an idiot. I don't think I'm not doing that stuff. I'm just telling you, I feel like in year 4, when there is expectations, is there any harm in saying, I'm fighting for my job and livelihood here? I want to make sure people feel that I'm fighting for it, as opposed to like, even if you do really care, it doesn't come off that way all the time, at least.
Yeah, well said. If you're watching the show live, you're one of the 950 people in here right now. Click that like button. It helps the channel grow. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For those wondering when Beningo is coming back on, Joe B and I spoke for 8 minutes on the phone today. Let's just say he is not happy. He will be joining us tomorrow in his weekly spot on the show at 10 a.m. Eastern. Joe normally joins us Mondays after Jet games, but I was on a flight back from London this morning, so Joe will join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. So Will Parkinson's with us today in his weekly spot, our only show here on a Monday following a international Jet loss. Reminder, the Jake Asman show is available in podcast form after we're live on YouTube. So if you want the audio version of the show to take on the go, find it on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify by searching the Jake Asman show. If you want bonus content, your name added to the intro, and of course, Discord access, join my Patreon channel by going to patreon.com/Jake Asman show. Once you sign up for the Patreon, you click a link in there that gives you access to the Discord. You'll save 15% on every merch item. And I want to mention our recent Patreon subscribers, Lucas and Jay. Thank you for your support. Best way to support me, in addition to watching the YouTube show, is joining the Patreon for less than a cup of coffee a month. You get all those perks, and you help me continue to do this full time moving forward. All right, well, before we get to a lot of super chats, we'll rapid fire through. Davante Adams, I think he's a Jet by Wednesday this week. What's your take on where things are with Jets, Adams, and everything being thrown out there in the rumor mill?
Yeah, so in terms of Davante, this is going to come down to, I think, more so about salary and what the Jets eat salary-wise. Obviously, the last week or two with him staying on the Raiders, I think it's gone down another, $1.5 million or $1.6 million. It feels like Davante wants to be there. The Jets need him, whether you want to believe it or not. And look, the Saints, other teams are obviously going to be involved, but this is going to come down to like, what are you saying? I'm going to pay basically the rest of that money in cash. I hope it happens. I think it looks like things are going to have to be done, today or tomorrow. There should be a lot of pressure, I would assume from Woody and the fan base and things like that to get something like this done from the coaching staff, from JD. But I still think I'm very confident they get him. But that said, there is obviously the off chance that, hey, New Orleans says they're going to do this, or Dallas Godfather offers them this, or the Bills or the Chiefs, et cetera. Like, go get it done. This is not, letting this go and not getting this done would be a huge frustration and I guess indictment, on this regime. Like, to not go get this done when you guys are fighting for your jobs. Like, aren't you already all in? No offense. What's that 2025 third round pick to you, or fourth round pick? Like, what is it? Because if you're not here, if you don't win, you're not here anyways. And the only way you're going to win is kind of getting as much talent in the building as possible, especially knowing the coaching's a problem. Like, if coaching's so much of a problem, you have to just be so much more talented than everybody else. And, what Davante is going to catch the footballs Lazard doesn't, or take away Xavier Gipson reps. Shame on that. Right? Like, come on, man. Can
I say this too, Will?
Yeah.
Like, like today, there's a narrative out there from some who are just negative Jet fans, and I get it. You have every right to be negative after yesterday. Oh, Davante doesn't fix anything. This team still sucks. He might not make you a Super Bowl contender as long as Hackett's the OC, Salah's the coach, etc. But the idea that the Jets wouldn't have at least one more win right now if they had Davante is crazy talk, man. You think Davante Adams drops the amount of passes Lazard dropped yesterday and in total this season? As you said, he leads the NFL in drops this year. You think Davante Adams wouldn't help the Jets score another point or two to beat the Denver Broncos? They might be 4-1 with them. So while he doesn't solve everything, the idea that he wouldn't help the Jets is crazy. And those saying, oh, you're mortgaging your future. No, you're not. We're not talking about multiple ones here. We're not even probably talking about any first-round picks. At the most, it's maybe a 2. In all likelihood, it's probably a 3 or a 4. And if you're the Jets and you haven't made the playoffs since 2010, don't tell me that ending the longest playoff drought in sports, even if they can't win the Super Bowl, is not something that wouldn't be beneficial for this team and this fan base. So if you could get Devontae Adams, you get him. I don't care. You're a game out of first place with the Bills coming to your building on Monday night. Get him. You're not mortgaging the future. By the way, what future? All right. We missed the playoffs for 14 years. I could give a flying you-know-what about a draft pick. Woody Johnson, Chris Johnson, who was at the Jet Pub Friday night with everyone. Get it done. Let's go.
Yeah, look, man. The other thing, too, is like, isn't it pretty obvious that the compensation is not anywhere what the Raiders were really hoping for in reality?
Yeah.
Because they keep floating out how there's other teams involved in different stuff. Look, man, I just don't really understand the concept of like, oh, this isn't going to be helpful for the Jets. Like, they're probably 4-1 with him. No, they would have beaten Denver, and they definitely would have beaten Minnesota because Lazard's touchdown's the difference in the game. So, yeah, I'm just struggling with like, why is everyone so like, it's like scared to be great, but then complains when they're not good? Like, which is it? You know, like I know it sounds stupid, but like, which is it? Are you all in on the Jets being good, or you're not? Like I said, man, if no one else is going to be here next year because if it sucks this year and they end up blowing up, everyone's gone. Everyone's gone. So I don't know, man. At some point, and we haven't even talked about Reddick in weeks because it seems like nothing's going to happen there. But you know what? Like Devontae helps you a lot. He's still a really good player, and he has great chemistry with Rodgers, and he's awesome against man coverage. The Jets suck against man coverage. The Jets aren't going to motion people. Well, guess what? Garrett Wilson's going to get one-on-one coverage the entire rest of the season. If he plays anywhere the way he played yesterday, he'll end up with 1,400 yards. Like at some point, you're going to need to out-talent people, and that means getting people. Keep the picks for 2025. We're back to pick hoarding. We're back to the Knicks. We're back to Knicks fans from 2007 hoarding draft picks and cap space. If that's what the Jets fan base wants to be, man, then that's no disrespect to whoever posted that. That's what the fan base wants to be when Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. You might as well pack it up. We're not. You just did that for literally 15 years and it didn't work. So this time you decided to go all in on talent, both young and veteran. And now it's like, ooh, we're not really sure if we want to go all in. Go all in or don't. And if it's about cash and the Jets cheap out with the way the amount of money these fans, including ourselves, pay for tickets and hot dogs and beers and getting all these different games, that'd be a real shame, man. It'd be a real damn shame.
Especially after the amount of fans I met from all over Europe that traveled to this game yesterday. I mean, it is amazing how great this fan base is. And this organization very often doesn't deserve how great it is. So there's a chance to improve your team with a guy like Devontae who wants to play with your Hall of Fame quarterback who still could play like a top 12 guy in the league despite his issues yesterday. It would be a crime if he goes anywhere else. That's all I'm going to say on that. Hit that like button if you're tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking with Will Parkinson, the host of the Turn on the Jets podcast. Memberships are flying off the shelves right now. I want to shout out the big fella who earlier in the show, he gifted 5 channel memberships. The big fella wants Devontae Adams, another membership gift. This one came through from Ryan Gresham. If you got Ryan's membership, make sure you say thank you.
Oh, nice.
Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Here we go, Will. Let's just do some rapid fire here so we can get to all of them. Tyrone checks in with a $10 super chat. Tyrone, you are the man, my friend. Thank you very much. Bang! Before we go off the deep end, let's remember AFC is not what everyone expected. Even San Fran's 2-3 in the NFC. Bengals 1-4. Let's allow the team to work it out. We need to go 10-2. Go Jets. I mean, look, if you want the positives, despite how poor the Jets have played the last 2 games, they went on Monday. They're in first place. The AFC is loaded with mediocrity. Everything is still right in front of the Jets. So that's why those saying season's over, this stinks. It's like, okay, but you're going to be on your ass Monday night watching the Jets play the Bills with a chance to go into first place. You might be on mute, Will.
Balls. Everyone looks pretty mid right now. Like it's just the reality of the situation. The league as a whole there hasn't been a lot of really impressive teams, and even the really impressive teams have major flaws. It's kind of like baseball this year, where like I don't know, the Yankees are the 1 seed, and they're a really good team, obviously, but they have serious flaws. They end up they won 94 games, got it done, right? Like 13 wins might not be what's needed to do X and Y and Z, right? Or 10 wins might be able to win the division this year as opposed to 12 in years past. So yeah, I just think as a whole, including the Jets, been a lot of kind of all over the place. And if you're a Jets fan, I think one of the reasons to hope is they should be playing a lot better as the year goes on. And there's a lot of teams that aren't very good.
Scott checks in. Hey, Jake, nice meeting you at Hippodrome the night before the game. Didn't get to buy you a beer in London, so have one now that you're back in New York. Scott, great meeting you, man. Thanks for coming out to the party. I cannot say this enough, Will. You would be blown away by how incredible the Jet support is in the UK, in France, in Germany, especially Sweden, Denmark. This fan base is remarkable. Shout out to you, Scott.
Fan base is incredible, man. It's incredible. It's unfortunately beaten up over the years, but it's an incredible, passionate fan base, and obviously lucky enough to get to have people support what me and you do, from this fan base for sure.
Yvonne says A-Rod's loyalty to Hackett will be his downfall. Look, Yvonne, I talked about this yesterday, and I'll get your take on it real quick. As much as I love Rodgers and everything he's done for this franchise, trying to change the narrative and, being the leader he is and guys feeding off him, and we've seen it. His love of Hackett, man, to me, a lot of it's just like ego, because like everyone's ripping Hackett. That's his guy. And he's like, I'll show you I can win with him. I mean, maybe yesterday's the sign of Rodgers finally getting a little frustrated with Hackett when he was doing that gesture of getting the play in quicker. Like you could see Rodgers was visibly ticked off yesterday with how everything went down. I hope that they come out with a much better plan Monday against the Bills, because if they don't, it's going to get ugly if they lose that game, and the calls for him being fired and Salah being fired, I think they're real at that point. I really do.
Oh, 1,000%. I think part of the reason Rodgers likes Hackett is I think that they get along really well. And on top of that, I think Rodgers can kind of be Aaron Rodgers and not worry about kind of ruffling feathers. Hackett's got to get play calls in quicker. I think that's a huge issue right now. And it's been an issue for years. It was an issue in Denver. It was an issue last year. So yeah, again, I don't know if it'll be his downfall, because Rodgers did win 2 MVPs with Hackett. But yeah, he does have relationships, it seems like, that are maybe not the most talented at their job. A Lazard, a Cobb at that point in his career, etc.
LG writes in, it's mostly on Tippmann constant eye snaps and missed blocks. I guess this was in reference to the run game conversation. I don't know if Tippmann is the reason why they've struggled to run the ball. I don't know if that's fair. I mean, I think Tippmann overall has been decent this year in year 2.
Yeah, I don't think he's been amazing, but I don't think he's been like the main culprit or issue. He has had a couple snaps, but I don't think it's been overall terrible. Like, I'm not worried about Tippmann. He could be better, but I think everyone could play a little bit better right now.
John says Keith Carter sucks. Coach has got to take accountability. I mean, yeah, Keith Carter was a Robert Saleh hire. They could have changed after last year. They changed the running back coach and receivers coach. They kept Carter. It's on Carter. It's on Saleh. Look, ultimately, if they don't win, they're all gone, and Carter would be right near the top of that list.
1,000%. Keith Carter is not good. It's not a new thing. The Jets kept Carter, Saleh, Hackett, all guys who had question marks surrounding them. They ran it back. That's on them.
Rowan says, great to meet you over the weekend, Jake. Rowan, you're the man, my friend. We deserve better after a great weekend. Who do you think Quincy's comments are aimed at? Will, when Quincy talks about accountability, is he talking about the head coach? Is he talking about the offense versus defense? What do you think he means when he talks about the accountability?
Mixture of all of them. I think maybe some players on defense as well. I think it was kind of a shot at everybody of like, we got to stop whatever any like selfish behavior, any kind of me behavior. It's got to be nipped in the bud. Anybody that's not kind of in line with what we do, let's get it fixed, and let's get it fixed now. So I loved Quincy's comments, honestly.
Me too. And hopefully it fires his team up. Mr. Reality, since Olu became the starter, A-Rod's been killed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily all on Olu. Obviously Morgan Moses.
He's a rookie playing at a position. Morgan Moses being back, I think, would be huge.
Yeah, it would be helpful. And again, I'm not down on Olu or blaming him, but at the same time, he hasn't played amazing. And they need to give him some help at times, but he's going to get better as time goes on. They've played 2 massively two really good defenses that blitz a ton and two really good coordinators. And on top of that, he's playing out of position, and everybody else has been playing badly too. So, again, I'm not gonna crush Olu too much. 2 games in.
Storyline with a super chat. How did Brian Schottenheimer lose his job? Bring this man back as head coach. Whoever fired him needs a choke slam. Storyline. We can't be talking about bringing back Brian Schottenheimer. He hasn't been the Jets offensive coordinator since 2011, bro. Come on.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I want to. Brian Schottenheimer. Yeah. What? Yeah. People hated Brian Schottenheimer when he was here.
Despised him, including me. By the way, do you remember what I said to Shotty when you and I were together at the combine?
Hilarious. That was hilarious. Yeah, I'm very confused. I was not expecting a Brian Schottenheimer comment today, I have to tell you.
Will and I were together at the combine this year. We're out to dinner at one of the steakhouses down there that all like the NFL people go to. And Shotty walks in and I scream out at him, Shotty, 2010 Jets for life. And he laughed.
Yeah, it was Shotty, baby. Good old Shotty.
Mr. Reality, the name Sauce added a mystical sheen to a player who caused overhype. He'd go by Ahmad Gardner. The hype would be realistic. Can I say this? I'm about to go on a rant here. I'm not defending how Sauce has played overall this year. It has been below the 2-time All-Pro that he's been. He was bad yesterday by not catching that interception. But
yeah,
can we stop pretending like all of a sudden Sauce Gardner sucks? He's still very good in coverage. He's been one of the best cover corners again this year. When you look at the stats, he has not made as many plays as we would hope. He has not made as many plays this year as he typically does. But to act like Sauce Gardner is overhyped and he's not good, this is the first time he's not been the elite best cover corner in the league from the start. Like, I'm sorry, man, but people, stop shitting on your own players, all right? This is why it's tough to win in New York, because of this fan base and then the media piling on, too. Stop. We know they need to be better, but acting like Sauce Gardner has never been great is ridiculous. He was a 2-time All-Pro at his position. He needs to be better, but I'm not going to dump all over Sauce and pretend like he sucks now when that, objectively speaking, is not true.
Yeah, yeah, he was amazing the first 2 years. He's a first-team All-Pro, and he's still a really good player. He needs to have it better. He needs to step it up. Like, I don't think there's anything more than that. That's why I said, like, it's not like, oh my God, he's not good. It's more of just like, hey man, like, wipe it and get back to doing what made you special.
JJ going after you, Will. Will, you still think week 1 we were overreacting?
Well, in week 1, everyone said to like fire everybody. So yeah, I think overreacting at all in week 1 is overreacting, but they've got to get it figured out. Like there's less and less time to be like, oh, it's early in the year. Like it's just the reality of it. Like they got to get it corrected quickly.
I mean, the Niners have the same record as the Jets right now, man. A lot of teams are having issues.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely got to get figured out quickly.
Curly, all excuses, no wins. Receipt boy. Curly, we know you're negative. I get it. Sauce writes in, Woody has no winning coaches and continues to support Saleh, the most boring offense in the league with arguably the worst O-line, both losing coaches. This is what I deal with every day, Will. Here's the line you say. Until they win, I get it. It is fair criticism.
Yeah, until they win, everyone can be as mad as they want. I get it.
Beat the Bills on Monday night. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah. Just win damn games, man. Winning solves everything.
Blitz writes in, Saleh's pro day moment was that one clip where the coach was holding him back. Jet fans ate that up like Zach's pro day throw. I do know the play he's referring to. It's kind of funny.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I know exactly what you're talking about, but yeah, sure. Yes, I'll go with that one. Definitely not him. Definitely not him and his staff making the Jets a top 3 defense year over year after being the worst defense in the NFL. But I understand frustration with Saleh. I get it. He's been downright disappointing.
I'm gonna skip ahead because the super chat's great, and you're a soccer guy, Will. Jesus Jerry says, Jake, compare Tottenham or Tottenham as it's pronounced in the UK to MetLife. Here's the comparison: Margot Robbie is Tottenham Stadium. Lizzo is MetLife.
Oh, man, I'll go with a video game reference. Tottenham Stadium is like Madden 2007, 2006, maybe 2010 Madden. Madden 25 and 24 and 23 are MetLife. Utterly disappointing.
Can I tell you, Tottenham Stadium is incredible. Now, leaving is
A
an
disaster.
unmitigated disaster. If you thought leaving, anyone who went to the Raiders game last year knows this. If you thought leaving that stadium was a problem, leaving Tottenham and trying to figure out how to get back to central London where I was staying, that was an unmitigated nightmare. All right. So I do want to throw that out there. That stadium was incredible. Will, you go to all these stadiums, right? I've been to Dallas. I've been to Vegas now, Houston, Atlanta. I'm sure I'm missing some other NFL stadiums I've been to, but now I've been to like a premier soccer stadium.
Yeah.
And then you see what MetLife is, and it infuriates you. It really does.
Yeah, look, man, it's the Jets didn't do a good job. And the Jets and the Giants. This is not just the Jets issue. And let's hope that in the coming years, when the Jets can get out of MetLife and can rebuild their own stadium, maybe things will be different. And they'll use a better architecture firm and better designer for that one.
Rick Gordon says Jets have talent. Saleh can't take it to the next level. Yeah. They need Vrabel. Well, here's the thing. Mike Vrabel maybe will be the Jet coach next year, but it won't be till next year. So you're stuck with Saleh or Obrick or whoever they would promote if they can Saleh in season. They're not going to hire John Gruden in season either, so we can stop with that. He's suing the NFL, so stop it. Like the bottom line is this: if it's not Saleh, I think it's either Obrick or probably Middleton as the interim head coach.
Yeah, probably Obrick. I can't see it being. I mean, I'd be shocked, but I would say it's probably Ulbrich at that point. But yeah, hopefully we don't get to that point.
NY says, what would it take to get Trey Hendrickson from the 1-4 Bengals?
They just signed him to an extension, so I doubt it.
Jamie writes in, is it me or has Rodgers not been making many adjustments to the line of scrimmage last two games? Possibly their solution to the delay of game penalties.
Probably almost having to make too many adjustments.
The pain.
Trying to rattle through them here and not go long-winded.
No, I appreciate it. Storylyn, Saleh, media and fan base in his ear. Let me give Allen back-to-back runs. Rodgers, toxic animosity. Let me prove Lazard and Hackett doesn't suck. Very sad. Better. This is better than his Schottenheimer comment.
To be honest, the Allen thing, like if you want to play that card, like I could see the Jets having been like everyone criticized them all week for not giving it to Allen on 3rd and 4th and short, so they did it that time. But the Jets are not like and Rodgers not like purposely like losing games to like prove their point. Like we don't have to do that part.
Well, the play call with Allen on 4th and 2 running out of the pistol, Dan Orlovsky did a great breakdown.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Was horrific. So it's like, hey, we want to give it to Allen in short yardage, but like not like that. And also on that play, Garrett Wilson's on the sideline. Make it even more obvious you're running the football. Like, gee whiz.
Yeah. It was utterly disastrous.
Ryan, super chat. DA changes how a team defends us and helps the run. Devontae Adams helps you win games, period. Let's not act like, well, he doesn't make the Jets the favorites to win the Super Bowl, and they have issues with the coach and coordinator. Can we stop pretending like adding a top 10 receiver in the league is not going to help this entire offense? He also speaks Aaron Rodgers' language, which is something that even Garrett Wilson through the first 5 games has had some issues with until yesterday.
Yeah, 1,000%. He's got chemistry. He can play every spot. He knows this offense. He's one of the top 6 or 7 best receivers in football. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's Rodgers' best receiving teammate he's ever had. He makes Garrett Wilson's life easier. He makes Breece Hall's life easier. Any other things that make him that he does a good job with?
Winning.
Yeah, winning. He's only a guy that is an All-Pro that was Rodgers' last 2 MVP years was the main catalyst, and they won 13-3, no problem.
Rex writes in, Brady had AB, Gronk, Evan, and Godwin. Get at him.
Yes, Brady didn't use a lot of motion either. They have to get guys open against man coverage. You need good guys against man coverage. Devontae Adams, awesome at route running, good against man coverage.
Joe with a super chat. You could make an easy case of play here and there, and the team's 4-1. It hasn't been great, but it's close. Got to clean things up, but it's not impossible. I mean, a lot of the league is in the same spot the Jets are in right now. We're just hyper-focused on our team, but Will, you and I have talked about this, man. MetLife, rocking Monday night. You win the game. You change a lot of narratives instantly.
Yeah, I don't think Pittsburgh really scared you yesterday. I don't think New England scares you. Like, if you win this game, you should feel like, hey, we can be, all of a sudden, we're 5-3 at the bye. or not the bye, before Houston. I think the goal has got to be going 2-1 over these next three. But yeah, to me, it's these three. There's 3 games in front of them, and the Jets can have a chance to win all 3 of them.
Paulie checks in. Oh, wow. Look at this. This is the guy you talked about.
Yeah.
Will Parkinson coming down the escalator after the Pats game. What a change of vibe since then. Jacob, this is a donation to your therapy fund. Paulie, appreciate it. Will told the story 2 appearances ago about how one of the Asmaniacs recognized him coming down the elevator, and that was Paulie. There you go.
Yeah. He was a beast. He was like, "Hey, man, I watched you on Jake." And I was like, "That Jake's a beast. Keep watching his show. Keep watching."
Curvin, when was the last time Hackett's first 15 worked? The Patriot game.
Yeah, Houston Patriot game. I told you guys last week. It's either a spectacular first 15 or it is utter dog crap.
Yeah, there's no in between.
No, and absolutely not.
Phil, glad you got back home safe, Jake. The lack of a run game is killing us. Brees can't have twice as many carries as Allen going forward. Phil, you're the man. Great to meet you and your family at the tailgate and the other events this weekend. So awesome to finally connect with one of our longtime listeners out in Europe. As far as the run game goes, I mean, we opened the show talking about it, right? I think that's the biggest thing. When the Jets have won this year, they've had over 100 yards rushing in both those wins. In the games they've lost, they've averaged less than 3 yards a carry. When they have beaten the Bills, they've run the ball well. When the Ravens stuck it to the Bills and kind of opened up their issues during this 2-game losing streak they're on, it started with running the ball down their throat. They got to run the ball effectively Monday night if they're going to win.
Yeah, 1,000%. Got to be able to run the football, but got to be able to throw right now to be able to open up, the run. And Jets just got to figure out, hey, what are we good at right now, and what are we not, and focus on being good at those things as much as possible.
Hennessy Heisman in the house. The same fans bashing Sauce are the same ones saying we don't need DJ Reed, Adams, Reddick, but also upset we got rid of Geno and Darnold.
I said it. It's the people are scared to be great, I guess. I don't know. Or scared with the potential of getting hurt, and I get it, man. But it's, hey, there's not enough good guys on the team, and then when there's a good guy the Jets are available to get, it's like finding every reason not to get him. Everyone hates Alan Lazard until it's time to get Devontae Adams, and then Alan Lazard's the best player on the roster. So pick a lane.
Remember a week ago, we don't need Devontae. Now it's
we don't need Hassan Reddick, but we get no actual pass rush. So yeah.
Which, by the way, this defense with the talent level not being nearly as good as it was a year ago, Oberk and his staff have done a great job. Saleh deserves credit there too, by the way.
It's been a really good job.
Yeah, I don't want to bring up my
injuries. A lot, they've had a lot of injuries, and they've made it work for sure.
Yvonne doesn't help. Eccles has 2 picks in limited play. He should play more. Brandon Eccles could play, man. He should be the second corner on this team next year.
I wonder if the Jets will use, if Michael Carter misses any time, I wonder if they'll use Eccles in the slot at all.
That was a underrated thing that happened, by the way. He gets hurt in pregame warmups, and then all of a sudden you're down Carter and down Sauce for a lot of that game, and Mosley, and you still played that well.
Extremely unideal. But you could definitely. This is a great. It's a stretch of games where having Michael Carter would be awesome, especially Buffalo.
Phil says, "Who's the best upcoming head coach?" Ben Johnson.
I guess the Jets are not getting Ben Johnson. Unless things go horribly wrong and Rodgers retires, I don't think Ben Johnson's coming here he'll get paid $25 million by I don't know, whoever the team is picking. Maybe I don't know. Well, I don't want to talk about offensive head coaches in week 6. The season's not over yet.
Yeah, they're playing for first on Monday night. It's crazy to say, given how these last 2 games have looked.
I get it, but I'd rather not go too far down the deep end.
Well, here's the thing too, right? If you're going to fire Saleh, I think the next head coach, it has to be an offensive guy if you're going down the first time coordinator route again, or it has to be someone with a proven track record. So I would want Mike Vrabel out of those options.
Yeah, I want a Vrabel type that comes in and say no nonsense guy before unless they have a rookie quarterback, it's a different conversation. But let's one thing at a time.
Sean writes in, is the lack of offense due to Rodgers/Hackett being stuck in the past because they had success, which results in stale play calling?
No, I don't think it's that. I think there's a mixture of problems. I don't think it's just them stuck in the past at all.
Jesus Jerry says Eccles DJ's replacement next year. #beast.
He's a free agent also, so there's a good chance that could be a potential option. Yes.
Yep. And by J Maddie with a $10 super chat. Oh, let's hit the money sound for our guy Maddie. Is Salah losing the players, or the players getting behind Rodgers and holding people accountable? Also, I went pumpkin picking again this year after the game this time. Married life sacrifices. Well, at least you planned it around the game this time, right? The Jets playing early allowed you to at least appease the wife and not miss a Jet game to go pumpkin picking.
I don't know if he's losing players yet, but if they start losing more and more, he will. I don't think there's a mutiny of Rodgers versus Salah. I'm not sure that's the case.
JJ is calling you a solid truther.
Just crapped on him for 45 minutes, for sure.
J-Melt says they miss Morgan Moses sorely.
Sounds like he'll be back this week. So,
Will, any final thoughts before we get out of here? We'll do calls on the other side. So if everyone
enjoy a drink. I don't know, some type of fat meal. Get yourself back and locked and loaded, and get yourself fired up for Monday.
Were you fired up when you were watching NFL Network yesterday and saw this?
It made my pants tight, Jake. It made my pants tight. No, I appreciate it as always. Hopefully next week we can finally do another Victory Tuesday.
And if people want that Hugo House hat, Will, they should use promo code Asman to get 15% off.
Promo code Asman.
There it is. That actually would not work, but
actually, no, Asman.
You can try it.
That is the Asman. We'll go that one.
Well, I appreciate it. Let's go Yanks.
Awesome. Thanks so much, man. John Birdie starting today. Weird move, but go Yanks.
Well, they're starting Birdie over who?
At first.
Oh, wow. So they're sitting Oswaldo down? Interesting. Yeah. I didn't even see the lineup yet.
But yeah, no, good luck. Enjoy the game tonight, man.
Thanks, man. You got it. Will Parkinson, everybody. Turn on the Jets. Get his podcast. Will does a great job. Part of TOJ and the Badlands Network on Patreon. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. We're going to take some calls here coming up on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I just want to thank everyone that I met across the pond. A bunch of Americans made the trip, but I was blown away by how many people from all parts of Europe traveled to go to this game and are daily listeners of the show. Seriously, I'm blown away, man. It was wild. I mean, the party we did on Saturday at the Hippodrome Casino probably had 400 people at it. And I'd say 300 of them were not American citizens. It was amazing. I'm blown away by the support this show has, and obviously the Jets have in the UK and all over Europe. Thank you again to everyone. Gangrene UK, Green Smoke, the organizers behind so many of the events this weekend. Just incredible. Ryan Green checks in. What's up, Ryan? Two-parter. One, who was ultimately responsible for the offense? Salah, Rodgers, Hackett. Two, accountable. Everyone's saying it. What does it really mean? My take on this is who's ultimately responsible? One's the head coach. He's the head coach. Two, it's obviously Hackett and Rodgers. I think the issue we're running into is I don't know if Rodgers accounted for just how bad Hackett is. Because Rodgers can change a lot at the line, but he can't do everything. It is hard to be good at being an OC, right? There's very few in the league who are actually very good at it. Now you're asking your quarterback to do that and play quarterback, which is also very hard to do. So you need more talent to overcome it, which is why I'm still pro get Devontae. Because if you have Devontae, I think you're at least 3-2 or 4-1 right now, despite how bad they've been at times. Because Allen Lazard leads the NFL in drops. They win yesterday if that's Devontae he's thrown to. They score more than 9 points, I would think, against Denver if they have Devontae. Some of those routes at the end where Aaron and Garrett are on the same page, that ball is going to Devontae. Is the game different? Like, I tend to think it is. So he doesn't solve everything. I'll say they're 3-2, right? Because we all just assumed, well, with Rodgers, you'd never lose a 10-9 game to Bo Nix. But I think they have one more win with Devontae right now. So I think you add talent there. And I think when it comes to accountability, I think it's maybe some excuse-making going on maybe inside the room. Maybe it's Salah talking about, oh, well, you know, the defense played well. And it's like, maybe say, hey, we played well, but it's still not good enough because we didn't win the game. You know, we allowed them to get a field goal at the end there when, you know, we held them to a 3-and-out. Our offense only needs 3 to tie the game, and everything's maybe different. I think it's stuff like that. Like I think Salah's messaging after these games, it's okay to show you're pissed off. Like, I appreciate the fight my guy showed in the second half, but it's unacceptable that we came down in this game and we trailed 17-0 in the first quarter. Like that's what I think some of that means. And it's also probably some stuff behind the scenes we're not privy to, as Will was talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ just became a channel member. He did it the old-fashioned way. He's like, I don't want any solid truthers to gift me a membership. I'll do it myself. JJ, thank you for the support, my man. All right, let's get to some calls here. The Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline is open. It's funny. Everyone told me the weather in London was going to be miserable. I brought my umbrella. I brought my raincoat. Didn't rain once. Rained a little bit during the game, but thanks to the greatness of Tottenham Stadium, I didn't feel a drop. But the weather was excellent, man. It was 60s and beautiful. Sun was out first couple of days there. So anyone who made the trip, we got some great weather in London. I mean, look at the background here. Just an incredible fan base, man. A fan base that this organization really does not deserve. It's remarkable. All right, let's get to some calls. Ladies and gentlemen, Gus Buster Hotline. First up is Kyle Clifton. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Jake. I've calmed down a little bit. There's no way to go but up. But,
Careful.
Yeah. Salah, the only thing I will give him credit for is if he can somehow clean up these penalties. That's a good first step, right? Because it's the little things that are killing us right now. If we could reduce these 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 penalties we're having a game and maybe reduce it to 5 or 6, that would go a long way towards us winning some ball games. I don't understand the people who are denying the impact that Devontae would have. One of the other little things that's bothering the team right now is drops, whether it's Devontae, not Devontae, but Lazard, or miscommunications between Rodgers' receivers. You know what would really mitigate some of Lazard's drops? If he's not on the field, if he's the fourth receiver. So that's one thing that we could look to do. I saw that Salah in his press conference was like, we're not making any changes with regards to the play calling. That's a mistake. What they don't have to tell anyone that they're doing it, but they should have Downing give it a shot and see if a different voice is going to impact the team positively. There is nothing to lose, and we are entering desperation mode right now, if we're not there already. There's plenty of time left to start stacking wins. We have 2 AFC wins already. We have 5 division games left. We have other games against the Steelers, the Texans, I think the Jaguars in the AFC to start making an impact to make a playoff push. So while it's not time to panic mathematically, based on what we've seen, panic is starting to set in a little bit. Start stacking wins. That's the only thing I can to say to these guys. And I think you're right. If they were to lose or show poorly on Monday night, you'd have to consider making a change.
Well, because there's just too much talent. Yeah, I completely agree. Because there's just too much talent to be 2-4 at that point. Like my big thing is, as Jet fans, we know what a bad football team looks like. This team, I don't think, has bad players on it. I think they have a lot of talent, and you make a change to your coach when you're not getting the most out of your talent. And I'm not blaming Salah for everything after rewatching the game. I think yesterday's loss, I flipped out on the show yesterday. A lot of that was I watched it in person. Took 2 hours to get back to my hotel. Like, I was just pissed at everyone yesterday, and I'm still pissed. But I think after watching it, like, I killed the coaching staff. I think they deserve blame for sure. But to me, this was also a lot of just players not playing to their standard, including the quarterback, who had been very good, I thought, until that game yesterday. So I think it's, I think it's one of those things where if they have a bad showing against the Bills, you almost have to make a change, because what else do you have to do at that point? Like, you got to do something. You can't let the season be lost when you have this kind of talent.
Coaching is something that we're going to have to overcome all year, whether it's lack of passion or, not calling timeouts timely. The penalties is a good first step. Let's start stacking wins. Thanks for your time, Jake.
Kyle, great call. Just win Monday, man. That's it. Winning fixes a lot of issues. They don't ask how in the NFL. They ask how many. Beat the Bills 3-0 for all I care, but win. David became an Asmaniac. He's like, I don't even want to gift me a membership. Boom. Bang! Bang! J-Belt, Super Chat, cuts the line. When they ran Braylon Allen 4th and short, why is he getting the ball 7 yards behind the line? And why can't Rodgers audible out of that idiocy? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, we're asking Rodgers to do everything. I get it. Maybe he's trying to show some faith in the coaching there. The play call was stupid, though. I know everyone's saying take the points. I could tell you being at that game in real time, I didn't mind going for it. I hated the play call. Garrett Wilson wasn't even on the field. Make it even more obvious you're running the ball. And yeah, we want Allen to get the ball in short yardage, but out of the pistol set, as you say, 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, that's ridiculous. I'm gonna pull the clip of Orlovsky breaking it down on his Twitter account last night because while it will make you want to rip your hair out, it is eye-opening. He did a great job with it. JJ writes in, Hennessy Heisman call and defend your coach. This is my favorite type of super chat. When people spend money to call out other listeners for their previous takes. Incredible. Mike D's nuts in the house. Thoughts on Sherwood going forward? I think with Mosley likely back this week, Sherwood should still play a role in the defense. I think his speed adds a lot. So I think they need CJ Mosley back, especially on first and second down. But I think Jamie and Sherwood, an obvious passing situation, should still be out there. More of your calls right now. Let's go to Michael Levinson. He's next. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Jake. Let me tell you, I'm sitting in a parking lot in my cardiologist's office. He goes, why is your blood pressure so high? I said, well, I was waiting to speak to Jake and Will, and now I'm watching the Jets. He goes, I'll go, relax. I'm sorry. I'm tired of seeing Saleh sit there on TV, like Will said, like he doesn't care, like he's a fan, like not even engaging. I mean, what is that? Okay, Hackett has to go. Okay, and I'm telling you, Jake, if things don't change, Saleh has to go, not Douglas, because I'm not going back to square one with a new GM and everything starts all over. Douglas built the team. I think he deserves to hire another coach.
I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Michael, but the two biggest things you do as the GM is pick your coach and quarterback, and he royally screwed up the Zach Wilson pick. And to this point, he got it wrong with Saleh.
But how many GMs get it wrong with the quarterback?
Okay, I mean, fine, but he also screwed up the head coach, and he'd be going into his 7th year at that point.
I get it, but what do? We can't just start over again. It's every year it's the same damn thing over and over again.
Well, I mean, this regime's had a lot of time though. Like they missed the playoffs again. Like, how do you justify giving Joe Douglas an extension?
Well, so what are we gonna do? Get Devontae, say we don't make the playoffs, then everyone's gone. Rodgers is gone. We still have Devontae. I mean, it's just back and forth.
Well, I mean, if they miss the playoffs and Rodgers is gone, like, he'd be 41 next year. Like, we'd have to see what level of quarterback he's still playing at. You know what I mean? Like, there's just too many unknowns right now to have this conversation.
No, I know. But, why can't we be that one team, like, say, Washington, who gets a number 2 pick and it looks like they hit on the quarterback?
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing though. You look at the Texans, right? Like they were worse than the Jets, but they hit on Stroud and the rest is history. Like, you need to hit on the quarterback. That's always what it comes down to.
Yep. You're right. Good talking to you, Jake.
Michael, great call, man. I appreciate it. Let's keep rolling with great callers. Big fella's next. What's up, big fella?
Hey, man, I'm glad you made it back safe and everything.
We're back, baby. Let's go. Jay. I walked. I got through customs and I grabbed my American flag and I said, "I'm home, baby."
Hey, it looked like you had a good time over there, my man.
I mean, honestly, if the Jets had won, it would have been probably a top 5 weekend of my life. The Jets losing, unfortunately, knocks it down a peg. But once again, and I've said this a lot, unfortunately, every part about this weekend was great until the game started.
All right. I got some notes here, all right? Because I got a lot to say. What does this team do every week? I see these cute little videos of asking questions and stuff like that during the week. I always hear, it's a great week of practice. But then what happens? Every week we come out slow. We're always playing from behind and always penalties. We're always getting penalties. We do the same bullshit halfback dive that never works. We never see a jet sweep. We never see a halfback toss. We never see a screen pass to Brees. Nothing. All right? There's no originality. Lazard drops the ball like his gloves are covered with Diddy's baby oil. All right. After a horrible first half, our coach was asked, what do you need to do for the second half? And you know what this moron said? He says, we need to keep doing what we're doing. You're losing.
Well, the only thing I will say, I agree. That answer sucked. It probably would have drove me crazy if I saw it live. The only thing I will say is they obviously played way better in the second half than they did in the first half.
But you're losing.
Of course.
What kind of moron says, we got to keep going?
I want Salah to be pissed. I want him to be more, agitated. Even in the post-game press conference, we talked about it earlier.
Exactly. Look, JD put a lot of talent on this team, and it's being wasted by this guy. He's more of a fan than he's a coach. Okay? And Hackett's pathetic. All right? He's Jesus God. I like I said, under here, it says I'm in Peter Castro fan hell because I am. It's ridiculous. I have high aspirations for this season, and seeing this stoic clown on the side of on the sideline, just standing there with a blank stare on his face, all right, and seeing our quarterback get destroyed. We're not throwing any long balls, okay? We're not. The reason why it got intercepted is because we're throwing it to crowds now. We need to spread everything out. It's disgusting. It's literally disgusting, and I'm sick of it. But I will be rooting for him on Monday. So,
well, that's the thing, right? There's a lot of fan bases who are disgusted with their team. Yeah. Not all of them can win and be in first place on Monday. Like that's what's so crazy about this season.
That's what's insane. It's insane. I mean, the AFC East is so. If we don't win the AFC East this year, we're never going to win the damn thing.
No, and like honestly, that's gonna win the division at 9-8, maybe the way it's shaping up right now.
Yeah,
we'll see. But like that's why it's like as frustrating as we all are. Everything is right in front of them. Go get Devontae Adams and try and make your. I'm trying to remember which content guy tweeted. I laughed. I think it was O'Leary. Like, try and make your offense as stupid proof as possible because of Hackett. And it's like, yeah, like Devontae would help. I understand those saying, oh, but we're really going to add Devontae. It's not going to matter with these coaches. But it's like, okay, they have Devontae. You think they lose yesterday or they lose to the Broncos? Probably not. They win at least one of them.
Bro, after we signed Tyron, I was like, look, we have a lot of talent on this team. The only thing we got to worry about now is the coaching. And my premonition of this crap came true. All right. We all thought it was Zach's fault all the time. Okay. And granted, it was. All right. He is not good. He's awful. But I think we were like, oh, we're going to see if Salah, can work with, a legit quarterback. And he still sucks. It's still bad. We gotta, I don't know. We gotta do something. I mean, I would love to have Ulbrich as the coach. I don't think he would be standing on the sideline just saying, if you remember during Hard Knocks, he's staring at Aaron Rodgers saying, oh my God, look at that pass. Look at that. Look at that. And he's doing the same thing during the game. He's not thinking. He's just standing there watching. You have to be able to, adjust and, work with your players and hold players accountable. He said in a previous press conference, he said, these guys are men, they don't need to be embarrassed and stuff like that. Well, men also need to be held accountable. Okay. You don't let your team go to hell and you're just standing there and just watching it happen. You got to step in. And he's not doing that. So, I don't know. I know that was a lot, but I feel like Neil. But, I appreciate the time, man.
Do you feel any better after getting that off your chest?
Oh, a little bit. It took for you to come all the way back from England for me to get that shit out. So, I appreciate it, man.
Well, I appreciate you, big fella. Don't worry, man. Like, everything's okay because.
Yeah, no, I get it. But.
My mic just fell. If the New York Jets win on Monday, they're in first place, and the goal of having this opened and enjoyed on the show after being AFC East champions is still alive and well.
Dude, that's a dream of mine. All right, I have my moonshine downstairs, so next time I'll bring it up and show you. But yeah, we are definitely doing that. But Salah, get your head out of your ass, son. We got to win this year. Let's go,
ladies and gentlemen. Big fella. Good call there from the big fella. He's right, man. It's amazing how mid the AFC is. You have the Chiefs, you have the Ravens, you have the Texans. I don't know if there's another good team in the AFC after that right now. Now, teams will emerge. Let's hope the Jets could be one of those teams. It's not going to be easy. It never is, but it's still possible, as crazy as that sounds. This was the Orlovsky cut that went viral yesterday, talking about that 4th and 2 Braylon Allen play call that I'm just going to play it. You'll see what I'm talking about.
All right, I got a lot of issues with what happened in the Jets-Vikings game, specifically today with the Jets' offensive performance. Get into that tomorrow morning on Get Up. But 4th and 2, you're trying to get something going on offense. You just went for it on third down. You know Minnesota's defensive line is great. Okay, here's my biggest gripe with this whole situation. It's 4th and 2. The ball is getting snapped on the 26-yard line, right? 26-yard line. The back, so it has to get to the 24 and a half, so a yard and a half too. The back is lined up on the 34-yard line, so he's 8 yards behind the actual line of scrimmage, 9.5 yards to the first down marker. Okay, remember, he's got to get to the 24 and a half. He's going to get the ball. He gets the ball. He is still 8.5, 7.5 yards till the first down marker. 7.5 yards. I mean, he's 7.5 yards from actually getting the football to where he has to get to. There's no justifiable, logical reason to do that. You think that guy makes that play if the back is here? No. And then at least it's one-on-one with the guy in the hole with Braylon Allen. I mean, look how deep he's lined up. No sense.
I mean, what are we doing, man? I hate this team sometimes, man. I despise this team. Really. I mean, I was seeing blood yesterday. I was seeing red in my eyes. I saw there was a comment that just came in. Joe Benigno must be going mental after yesterday's shit show. When is he on the show? When is he on the show? So Joe's joining us tomorrow at 10 a.m. It was supposed to be today, obviously, but I was on a flight at 7 a.m. London time and landed at 10 a.m. New York time. I went back in time today, folks. All right. But I did have a call with Mr. Joe B today, and we spoke on the phone for 8 minutes, and Joe is not pleased. So you guys will hear Joe's full thoughts tomorrow on the show. I go, Joe, you going to Monday night? He's like, I don't know, bro. I don't have tickets yet. Maybe. We'll see. I don't have tickets for Monday night either. I'm going to see. I'll see how this week goes. I don't know if I have it in me right now. We'll see how the week progresses. All right, some super chats here, and then we'll get back to your calls. Hennessy writes in, do you think A-Rod's playing hurt? Yes. Yeah, he's got a low ankle sprain. He said it after the game. He was also banged up going into the game. He wasn't moving great yesterday. He still can make plays. I think part of the reason why he did miss some throws is because he's playing hurt. I do believe that. He had 6 on what's it good? So like next gen stats charts like accuracy. Rodgers had 6 off-target throws yesterday. I think it was tied for the most in his career in a game. He had a bad game. Yet they still could have won the game as bad as they played. That, to me, speaks more to the talent than anything else that the team has. Like, we know the coaching is not good on offense. We know the head coach has major flaws, it appears. But despite this, they nearly won the game yesterday and last week because they're talented. That's what's so frustrating. Like, we've seen what bad Jet teams look like. This team's too good to be 2-3 right now. They should be 3-2 or 4-1. And that's what sucks. Bang Mateo, 2 years, same question. What does Salah do on the sidelines? Bang, I don't know what to tell you, man. Indomitable. Mike Williams went from prolific to pedestrian under the staff. Well, he's coming off an ACL, right? Mike Williams had gotten better every game this season until yesterday. I thought it was crazy how he didn't get more looks. And then, with the game on the line, Rodgers and him, I guess they're not on the same page, or Rodgers just made a bad throw. That throw's on Rodgers, though, not Mike Williams. But I think if Rodgers leads Mike Williams, maybe they call it DPI. Honestly, you could argue there was interference on that play. The Jets were called for certainly a lot worse in that game. Oh, excuse me. The Jets were called for certainly a lot less than what Gilmore did on Mike Williams at the end there. Let's be fair. I'm not saying it's they should have thrown the flag, right? But if you're being consistent with how the game was called, you could argue a flag could have been thrown there. Venom with an Asmaniac super chat. Jake, you can't fault JD for the Zach Wilson pick. That quarterback class was terrible. We needed the quarterback, and we had to choose which bowl of crap. Okay, if you want to give him a pass for Zach Wilson, does he get a pass for the head coach? He hired him. I like Joe Douglas overall. I just think when we sit here and say, on October 7th, fire Saleh and you have to keep JD, can I see how the rest of the year plays out? That's all I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, we go to Neil, who is up next. Hello, Neil.
Jake, how are you?
Neil.
I know. Hey, listen, you got a different Neil on the phone right now. This is the new Neil. You ready for the new Neil?
Oh, God.
Are you ready for the new Neil?
Wait, hold on. I'm not ready yet. I'll tell you when I'm ready. Stand by. I'm making an update to your name there. All right, here we go. All right, go ahead.
Okay. We've lost the last two games by a total of 7 points. Could everybody relax a minute? All right. Enough of the bullshit. If I hear anything more about changing coaches, JJ peacocking because he's right so far through 5 games that Salah stinks, and next we'll have Allen on here peacock. And see, Allen's smart because he's going to wait until Thanksgiving to pop his asshole face up and say how either bad or good we are. But guess what? We're not going to see Allen because by Thanksgiving we're going to have everything fixed. Okay? The only thing I'm concerned about right now is this. I will be gladly putting on a Devontae Adams jersey for Monday Night Football. If JD doesn't close this one, okay, I'm pissed off enough about him over Reddick, okay, who clearly we could be using right now, being with 4-man pressures, with 3 UDFAs on the defensive line yesterday. We couldn't get pressure on Sam Darnold could have had coffee and cake back there the last drive of the game, all right, which is when we needed to blitz. But I'm not going to go into the bad decisions. And there were a lot of bad decisions yesterday. But the reality is this. You said it. We have too much talent not to win. Just put that in your head and keep it there. The talent is there. With Devontae Adams, we take another step higher in the talent level. All right? And we will win. We are going to beat Buffalo's fucking drawers off. And we are going to get back on track. We're going to be fine. Everybody take a breather. It's 5 games into the season. It's not even 2/3 of the way done yet. All right? If Joe Beningo wants a seat, I want him next to me because I am going to be optimistic. I'm going to be positive. Jake, I'm going to be positive. There's no negativity here. Everybody stinks. Everybody stinks. You think the Buffalo fans are going crazy and happy right now? Okay? Josh Allen hit that field yesterday.
How was he not ruled out with a concussion?
Let me tell you something. If that was to his head hitting the turf, an ambulance would have had to come in and take him out of the field. That's how dead he would be. His head bounced. I could not believe the force in which his head hit that field. There's no way he's not seeing stars. Either that or he's got a concrete head, one or the other, because he is not going to be the same. He was 9. I have a funny conversation with, I get calls from all these a-hole friends of mine, who they can't wait on Monday to rip me. You know what I mean? I get the calls, Neil, what happened to Aaron Rodgers? What happened? And one of the guys that calls me, he's a bettor. He's not a fan. He likes to bet, and he always tells me, Neil, you think you're always right. So his favorite guy 2 weeks ago, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. That's who he thinks is going to run away with the AFC. Okay, he loves Josh Allen. So he calls me up and he starts bitching to me about Aaron Rodgers. I said, let me ask you a question. Josh Allen's line yesterday was 9 for 30, Jake.
Yes.
9 for 30. Okay? Aaron Rodgers is under fire every single time he takes a snap. They knew we were passing the ball. Guys were missing blocks. Everybody was dropping passes. Yet, we had a chance to win the game. And Aaron Rodgers said it at the press conference. He said that throw to Mike Williams was on him, not on Mike Williams, because he underthrew him. If he overthrows him or hits him, there's no way he's dropping a ball. And we score that touchdown, and we're walking away with the win. Same thing last week with Denver. All I can tell you is this: put this in your head. The best quarterback game we ever saw as Jet fans was against the Patriots a few weeks ago. There will be games like that again. Let's just hope it starts Monday night. And if we get Devontae Adams, let me put it this way. If we don't get Devontae Adams and he's on another team like the Ravens getting 100-yard games and 10 receptions, how are we going to feel about Joe Douglas then, Jake? How are you going to feel about him then if he's on another team getting another team wins while we're stuck we have? Well, how are you going to feel about that? You going to still like Joe Douglas, everybody? How you feel about that? What do you think, Jake? How will you feel when he's on another team, when he's on the Ravens, helping them get to a Super Bowl? Or if he goes to the New Orleans Saints and makes Lex Carr look great? What are you going to feel then?
Look, assuming the trade compensation is around what has been out there, if he goes to any other team besides the Jets, I'll be pissed. Now, if he goes to the Ravens because they gave a first-round pick and then some, all right, I understand.
Jay, can I ask you something?
That's not happening.
What difference does it goddamn make what pick we give him? This is our all-in season this year and next year. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't have Devontae Adams, by the time he keeps having Lazard drop the ball by game 6 or 7, he is going to put in his retirement papers early. He wants Devontae Adams. The guy gave up $35 million to become our quarterback. You don't think part of that in his mind was the fact that he was going to get Devontae Adams at some point? What do you think?
I do think that the plan is for them to get Devontae, Neil. So we'll
if they don't get him, I'm going to be so pissed. All right, that I'm going to take Joe Douglas and I'm going to deflate him. I'm going to get Rob over to one Jets drive, and we're going to beat the living shit out of that fat bastard.
Oh, this is what I'm going to do to you all season, little bitches.
Yeah. Jesus, man. Yes. Oh, apparently I'm muted. Hold on. My back now. Thumbs up. Hear me. Yep. All right. Oh my God. One more time.
Oh, take that, you pesky Patriots fans.
My computer's lagging here. So it said I was on, but my mic was actually muted and vice versa. I think we're good right now. We'll continue with your calls. Let's say hello to the Hamburger. He's next. Hamburger, what do you got for us?
What's up, Jake? Glad to see you back at the homeland.
We're back, baby.
Got a few things I want to go over. Once again, this weekend, Atrocious, man. Absolutely deflating. You go back to last week against Denver, same crap. This week we didn't have pre-snap penalties, but we're missing blocks. We're missing blocks. We're not completing what we got to do. You come back this week, you have Bates that mixes that block on that same play that Orlovsky was talking about. He makes that block. He's gone for 15, 20 yards the size of the hole that's after that guy. It all goes back to coaching. That's what I truly believe is that I'm not calling for Salah to get fired. I don't want that. I don't want to deal with that circus right now. I think this team could be good, but you can't make the same exact mistakes week after week and not get better. I mean, I put blame on a lot on Aaron too. Hackett calls the plays, but Aaron changes the calls on the field. So, I don't know if it's Hackett or if it's Aaron not getting the right plays. The guy's not making the blocks. Bates is getting off the ball. The ball's hyped. He's still sitting in his 3-point stance. He's getting beat. They're all getting beat, missed blocks. Yeah, man, it's going to get tough for us real quick. And this is the most important game in like 15 years that's coming up this Sunday. I mean, the last time we played a game that was this important was what? 2015 against Buffalo, week 15, I believe it was, when we had I'll be there. I'll be there Monday night. It's my birthday. I'm excited.
Oh, the hamburger birthday. That changes a lot.
I'm going to be 48 this year. So that's 42 years of watching this franchise. And just, man, I'm not a negative Nelly. I like to say that we have a good future. We're going to do it this year. We're going to make the playoffs. I shaved my head in January. And I said, I'm not cutting it until this team makes the playoffs. That's why I have long hair.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's like 9 months of not cutting my hair. And it's getting, I need to have it down to my ankles. So, but I noticed you guys said that I look a little like the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers or Will Ferrell. My brother looks like Will Ferrell. But if my hair's cut, I don't look like either of them. But I appreciate the comparison.
I love the hair hamburger. All right. Your birthday Monday night, it's going to be a special one. All right. Positive vibes. The Jets will win for you on your birthday.
Usually I go to where I park G2, but I think this time I might park over by where you guys are and meet all the Asmaniacs. And sounds like it's going to be a good time over there.
Yeah, it always is, man. Win or lose, this is a great fan base. We all know that. So definitely stop by. I don't know if I'm going to the
100%.
game. I don't have a ticket yet. So we'll see. But if I'm there, L5 is the place to be. Even if I'm not there, L5 is the place to be for the jersey burn.
Listen, with these 2 losses, you might get tickets a little cheaper. A lot of people might not want to go.
You're not wrong.
So
I appreciate it.
But all right, man. Well, good luck with your Yankees, and hopefully the Mets pull it out tomorrow night too. And I'd like to see us in the World Series together again.
Hey, amen, hamburger. Great call. Yeah, look, I know the Mets obviously had a tough one yesterday, but they did their job. They got the split in Philly. And just the way they even showed resiliency coming back in that game. Like, the Phillies are really good. There's a reason why they won the division. There's a reason why they've been in the World Series 2 years ago. They've been on deep playoff runs. Like, they're good. Their best players play like their best players in the playoffs. Like, Harper's been amazing in the postseason since he's been there. Judge has got to have a Harper-like playoff run here. I know game 1 he struggled. And look, Judge is a career 206 hitter in the playoffs. It's not like he hasn't had moments. A series he has played well. But he was bad in 22 for all of that postseason, basically outside of a couple games against the Guardians. And he wasn't good in game 1. So he's got to get it going. But your best players need to be your best players in the playoffs. And I say this about the Jets to get it back to them about this game on Sunday. Like, Brees, Garrett, Sauce, like, this team is not equipped for those guys to not play to their potential. Whole premise of you add Aaron to this team was those guys remain elite. And even if Aaron's not the MVP player he was in Green Bay, he's still better than anything close to what you've had. And that's more than enough to win. But I go back to this stat. When the Jets have won this year, they've had over 100 rushing yards in both games. When they've lost their 3 games, they've averaged less than 3 yards per carry. They have to go out there and run the ball better against Buffalo. No excuse, man. We talked about this at the top with Will Pa. We showed you the Orlovsky breakdown of the Braylon Allen play. I'm going to play this again. Like, for those tuning in late, this was Brian Baldinger breaking down the Jets running game yesterday.
This is a problem for the Jets right now. The run game is almost non-existent. This is a basic inside zone play. All right? You got a 6-man front right here. You should be pushing right here. Tippmann and Simpson right here to Ivan Pace. Tyron Smith is going out here on Jonathan Greener. All right? There it is. Like, they're blocking it wrong. And so Ivan Pace comes free. All right? So whatever's happening up front, all right, it's not being communicated properly. This is not a difficult play at all. Like, these two are pushing up to Cashman. All right? Oliver Tucker, Scott Phillips. You'd be pushing right here to Ivan Pace, number 0. That's what you should be doing. But when you don't, Ivan Pace comes free. And this is the reaction to Aaron. Aaron's looking at this going, I mean, his reaction says it all. And it says everything about the run game right now. What are we doing? And I don't blame him. What are they doing? It's a problem.
What are we doing, man? Like, this is also a problem. Brendan Bates should not be on the Jets today. You want to send a message about accountability? Look, he's a rookie. They picked him up off waivers. Why is he playing, man? Jeremy Rucker can't be out there doing this. I mean, watch 84 in these run plays. You want to know why the running game sucked yesterday? This. And Brees needs to be better too, by the way. I don't want to give Brees a clear pass. He's not hitting the hole hard. He doesn't have the same explosiveness. I know Salah says, the GPS numbers show us he's running the same speed. Either Brees is hurt and they're not telling you, which would be a major violation of the injury report, and they would be fined and potentially lose draft picks, or his head's not in the game right now. Something's up. All right, I'm not trying to excuse how Rodgers played yesterday. He was not good. He was really bad in the first half. But that's not the norm from him. He doesn't normally play that way. He had a bad game. And they still almost won. But, you have to get this running game going. The premise of the year was built around an elite running game and this quarterback not turning it over and being able to benefit from having that in his game. And when Rodgers won his MVPs in Green Bay, they had a running game, especially the last two. They had Aaron Jones. They had A.J. Dillon. They weren't just throw it 54 times with Aaron Rodgers. How many times did Aaron Rodgers throw 54 times ever in a game in Green Bay his last few years there? Probably not many. Someone look it up. I didn't do it yet, but I probably will. Someone do it for me. How many times did Aaron Rodgers have to throw 54 or more times in a game in Green Bay the last 3 years he was there? That's not sustainable, man. And they're lucky he's even going to be able to play this week. He got a shit kicked in. Excuse my language, but that's what that was yesterday. When he went down, I thought it was over. I mean, look at the image from this game yesterday. And then the video they showed on the broadcast of him doing an army crawl, trying to shake off the pain after he got hit. Give me a break. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. There's 800 watching live. Let's get over 400 likes right now. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. It's free, and more people will discover the show. And if you need the show in audio form, I got the hookup on Apple and Spotify. I get asked all the time, what is the Jake Asman Show? Well, it's the biggest Jet podcast / YouTube show in the universe. And it's now available in audio form on Apple and Spotify. So check it out. Venom writes in with a super chat. Hold on. Click the wrong button. Jake, you can't fault Jade. I already read that one. Never mind. Jacob with a super chat. After the last 2 L's, I have no reason to believe we beat Buffalo, but I'll be there watching because I'm a sick Jet fan like everyone else here. Yeah, look, I'm not saying you should pick the Jets to win, but the reality is this is a Bills team that 2 years ago they beat them at home when they were a 13.5-point underdog in the game. Remember, Hennessy Heisman said when the Jets win, you got to drink Henny on the air. That's where the Henny bit started on the show, that game. Last year, they beat the Bills when they lost Aaron Rodgers 4 plays into the season and one of the most devastating sports injuries ever came back down 10 at halftime. I still think that's one of the best wins Robert Saleh has had as coach. That was a big time win. So look, the Jets gotta be better, but they can win on Monday. Now, are they going to win on Monday? I mean, it's hard to feel good about it, but I don't think if you're a Bills fan, you're feeling great about how you are going into this game. Their coaching staff cost them a game yesterday. If Sean McDermott did what Robert Saleh did yesterday, Robert Saleh's butt would be on a stick, Bobby Midnight style, outside the Jet facility today. Gabe says, you should set up a watch party for the Bills. We're going to do our watch party for the Steelers and Patriots game later this month, Jet fans. T-Squared Social. Be ready. Big fella. Jake, thank you for letting me rant. Getting to Brees, who I love, seems to be taking pass blocking lessons from Izzy, where the F is Curly. A great point, big fella. The Curly stuff annoys me. Because the Jets told everyone he was their rated receiver last year. In their, One Jets Drive in-house documentary that always obviously puts a positive spin on things because it's team generated. They couldn't wait to show you how much the Jets loved Corley. They couldn't wait to show you that. Where is he? He's inactive. You can't find any plays for him. Now, to be fair to Xavier Gibson, excellent job on that punt return to set up the touchdown at the end of the first half. But Malachi Corley can't have any role in this team, really? I saw Curly had posted some stuff on Instagram, basically like highlighting how good he was. Like, he's not happy. All right, so you're not happy. You get an opportunity to play, make plays. You know who always makes plays when they get an opportunity to play? We're not, as a fan base, talking enough about how awesome Brandon Echols is. That guy could play, man. Can we get this guy on the field more? Some guys just make plays when they're out there. This guy's a playmaker. The ball always finds Brandon Echols. That guy is good. Really good. BX Trilla is up next. I got about 15 minutes or so left, and I got to head to Yankee Stadium. What's up, BX?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make it quick. Us as Jet fans, we need to calm down, relax. Like this is a typical Jet thing. I think we set the ball high because we was finally getting a quarterback. We got excited, but we all knew that this 3-game stretch with the Vikings, Buffalo, and I believe the Steelers, is basically would have been the toughest stretch of our schedule. That's why the Denver game was important to win because it was a possibility that, like, let's be honest, like even though we got Aaron Rodgers and stuff like that, this 3-game stretch is brutal, and there's a possibility that we would have we was going to lose all of these games, all these 3 games, but I still think that we have a chance to beat Buffalo because Buffalo has no receivers, and our strength is really our D-backs. But we still could get killed with the tight ends in the run game. So and then Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. Like they got a good defense, but let's be honest, they got Justin Fields. If we scheme accordingly with our defense, we could win that game. I think we need to calm down. I believe the main issues right now is that didn't we change the running scheme when we changed the running scheme this year? I believe
they did. Yes.
I don't know why we did that. Maybe because we got Moses and what's his name, Samson from Ravens. Maybe that's why they changed it. But we need to we need to go back because what we was doing before was working for Hall. It was working. And to be honest, with Smith, he's been disappointing. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if maybe mid-season, if he continues to be this bad, maybe Olu, steps in, but he's been disappointing, man. For the amount we paying him and what we thought, he's not lived up.
He has not been great. I thought he was pretty good the first couple of weeks. I think he's been pretty bad the last 2. Look, fair. The good news is you're not paying him a ton, but obviously you're expecting more than what he's done these last 2 games.
Right. And then also with the scheming Gary Wilson, we're not scheming him good enough. I don't know what it is, but honestly, people was happy to get rid of LaFleur, but LaFleur was good with scheming. Like he was there with Elijah Moore. Them couple of games where Elijah Moore looked like he could be a good number 1. Look at him now; he looks trash. we had Wilson in the backfield one play, which I saw, but we need to do more of that. I don't know what it is. We need to do more of that, scheming them open. If you watch the game, you saw what they was doing with Jefferson. They was putting 3 wide receivers, giving them picks, like they was scheming them, man. We need to do better with that. So I'll leave it at that.
That's an excellent call, an excellent point too, because that's how you see like Justin Jefferson get matched up with Tony Adams and Isaiah Oliver, because Kevin O'Connell is a really good offensive coach and he can scheme guys open. We don't have that. When the Jets face good coaches, they're at a huge disadvantage because the scheme is it's very bland. And Rodgers needs Devontae to be able to maximize what he wants to do. He does. It's frustrating, man, but just win on Monday night. That's a great call by BX, though. I agree. Tyron Smith, I think, is still good. Maybe he's not, the Hall of Fame player he was, but I don't think he's washed. He was second team All-Pro last year. He didn't give up any sacks. Now we're giving up some sacks this year, but I think it's scheme and coaching, man. I think Keith Carter's not a good offensive line coach. We showed you the Baldy breakdown on guys not knowing what to do. That's not talent driven. That's just guys not knowing responsibilities. I put that on coaching. I do. Players got to be accountable too, but it's just, it's maddening. More of your calls before we wrap.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. I'm Jake. Mike says hello. And he wanted to ask if we should take the train down to New York on Halloween. Do you suggest we take the train or drive?
Well, you're coming from Vermont, so
yeah. Wait, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm having tech issues, Bobby. Sorry, I didn't even see you were on yet. Everything's delayed. I would take the train, I guess, so you don't have to drive.
Yeah. Hold on 1 minute. Okay.
Are you getting a call from Bobby Midnight Enterprises?
No.
No, unmute yourself. Unmute your mic. Bobby, unmute your mic. No. Unmute your mic right now. I need to hear what you're saying. Hello. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A, B, C, D. All right, you're gonna make me do it. Here we go, Bobby. Bobby, unmute your mic. To take calls during my show.
Hey, my dad called. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. My dad called. Okay, so should we take the train or should we take the car?
I don't get to say hi to your dad. You say hi to my dad.
Yeah, but he's not like your dad. Trust me.
What do you mean he's not like? You don't know my dad.
Your dad's a very nice guy.
Your dad's not nice?
Not to strangers, no.
What do you mean? I'm not a stranger. He doesn't know me?
No, we talked about you, but just do you think I should take the train or the car?
I mean, are you what is your plan the day of and the day after?
I want to take the car, but Michael found out that it's easier to take the train, which I don't know. You don't know. It's going to be so busy. I'd rather just ride down there, get down there, and park. That's what I'm going to do. Park at the hotel.
I think it's whatever you're comfortable with. If you don't mind driving, drive, and then you can get around and go wherever you want. If you want to take the train.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking.
Too.
Yeah.
Well, the game's going to end very late. So are you staying overnight?
Yeah, we're staying at the hotel right next to the stadium. So
okay.
We got a shuttle to go at the hotel. They get you over there from the hotel.
Now let me ask you this: what is your dad's name?
Yeah. Bob, like me, Robert.
Wait a second. Are you Robert Midnight Jr.?
Yeah, I'm a junior. I don't have a middle name.
Well, your middle name is Midnight, so it's Robert Midnight Woodruff Jr.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I don't like Robert, so I'll go with Bobby. So
Bobby Midnight.
Yeah.
Woodruff.
Yep. That's how it is. And Junior. Freaking Junior.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah,
hold
the
on.
Jets.
We have to make a name adjustment here. Hold on.
What?
Wait, does your dad go by Robert or Bobby as well?
No, he goes as Robert.
So is that why you don't like Robert?
No, that when I was a kid, they used to always call me Robert. I don't like that. And the teacher's Robert.
So who started calling you Bobby? Because sometimes you go by Bob. Like Mark Malusis called you Bob when you called into the radio show.
Yeah, he knows me as Bobby too. Yeah, he calls me Bob sometimes. So I think the Jets should whatchamacallit?
Bobby, do you know how many people from Europe asked me if you were making the trip to London this weekend?
Yeah, I heard you say that. And I like your two friends too. They were awesome.
My two English friends, Sam and Sam.
Yeah, they know Carly. How can you not forget Carly? I would remember her at the first day I met her.
Well, we know why.
Yeah, well,
Calm your freaky down.
You want to hear a story? We took Michael up to Vermont for his surgery, right? So we were staying at condominiums, right? And then we went up to the lodge, and then we had dinner up there. And the water girl that was there, we never had so much water in our life. The next day we walked to work, and she was hot, and I still remember her from that day. That was back in
what year was this?
84.
So you remember the water girl because she was hot from 1984.
Yeah, and when you don't remember, you don't forget a hot-looking girl. No, you don't.
I actually vehemently disagree with that. There's a lot of hot-looking girls out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I know. But you said could they remember Carly from 13 years ago? Come on.
I said it wouldn't be crazy if they didn't because it was a while ago and there were many people that worked at this camp that we were all at.
I know, but once you mentioned Carly, they said yes. That was great.
Bobby, this is for you. Thank you.
Oh, like good-looking chicks in that family. Wow.
Bobby.
Oh, yeah, baby. Things are about to get crazy here on the Jake Asman Show.
Calm your freaky down.
Sometimes we try, but that freaky just take us over.
Give him some of your loving voice.
Oh, yeah, hide them kids.
Again, leave your damn freaky down.
Too sexy.
you gotta chill, man.
Yeah, that was for me.
I think you would have liked a lot of the ladies in London, Bobby. They were very
lovely.
lovely.
Probably. Yeah, they're pretty over there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know they were like pip pip cheerio.
Pip pip cheerio. So the Yankees are going to win tonight. The Jets are going to beat Buffalo on Monday. Allen got hurt last night too, so we don't know what his thing is. So.
Well, he finished the game. They somehow thought using smelling salts would be able to revive someone with a concussion, which.
But do you see Rogers? That picture was awful, wasn't it? How he went backwards. I was scared for him.
I thought he died,
and he still stayed in the game. You got to give him damn credit for that.
Yeah, look, Aaron Rodgers is tough as nails, and teammates noticed that. They all talked about it after the game. I mean, this guy looked like he was dead, and then the Morstead roughing call happened, and he immediately ran right back out. That guy is tough as nails.
Right, he is. I agree 100%. You got to give him credit. If I was that, I would be on the sideline. Oh, help me! I hate pain. Yeah, but the Jets should get rid of Hackett. Hackett should be gone. And Salah should be gone. They should have, what's the defensive coach's name?
Jeff Ulbrich?
Yeah, I like that guy. He's cool. Salah just sits like this, and he doesn't do anything. He just chews his cud all the time. What kind of coach is that? I remember when he was on the 49ers, he would go running out when the place made a big call, a play, and he was like hitting the helmets. He just stands around and do nothing, like a statue. I think he should be gone. Kick out. And kick out the other guy should be the water boy, like Bobby Boucher.
I saw a couple of Bobby Boucher jerseys at the game yesterday.
Oh, really? Bobby Boucher. That's me. That's me in Secret
That's you.
Code. Yeah, Secret Code. Yeah. Bobby Boucher from, where are they from? South, right?
Yeah.
Alabama. Wasn't that Alabama?
Wasn't it New Orleans?
I think it was Alabama. It was New Orleans. Maybe New Orleans. You know what? Alabama got upset this week. That was great. Yeah.
Roll Tide. Not.
Yeah, I know. They were #1 and they lost to Vanderbilt. Holy crap.
I think it was Georgia, by the way.
No, I think it was Vanderbilt. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm talking about Bobby Boucher.
Oh, maybe it was Georgia. Yeah, it was South because the mother had a southern accent. I think you're right, Georgia. All right, you got more people on the line?
Maybe.
Well, I don't want to, you got to go to the Yankee game, take the train there.
Gary's
Oh,
up
it's
next. Hey,
Gary.
Gary.
Gary, I'm going
What's
on
up?
live if you want me to go.
Everyone in the South is the same to you. Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia. It's all the same.
No, we want to
If
know.
I said New Hampshire and New York, that's all the same crap. You guys would be
No,
offended by that,
we're
right?
trying to think where Bobby Boucher was in the movie. Where was that? Do you ever see
Jake
the
Asman's from Vermont or some crap like that.
No. We're asking
I'm from
what
Battleboro.
Yeah, some crap up there. Some
what
New York
part
or Vermont
of
or
what part Bobby
Delaware
Shea
or
was?
some garbage.
Where
up
was
there
Bobby
where it's
Boucher
cold.
from the Waterboy, Gary? Where was he from the Waterboy?
I love the Waterboy. I haven't seen it in 15 years.
I
I think
haven't
he was
seen
from,
him in a long
I
time,
think
but
he
we
was from
know it's a
Louisiana.
southern accent. Yeah.
I think he
Did
was
you,
from Louisiana.
Did you Texas
I was right.
win?
It was Louisiana. Thank you.
Oh, good. You, Texas won. Your Texas won.
Texas had a week off. They had a bye week.
Oh, so did Notre Dame too. Yeah. Who they play next week?
OU still sucks.
Oh yeah, I'm going for
The
Texas.
legend
Yeah.
of Oklahoma.
Is your nanny going to the game?
I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is.
I want your team to win. Texas. Yes. Ohio State lost already this week. Oh, sorry.
Bobby, who do we hate?
What?
Who do we hate?
Who do we hate?
Ohio
USC.
State. Come
Yeah,
on,
we do.
Bobby.
I hate Ohio
Who
State.
do we
too.
hate?
Ohio State. Yeah.
There you go.
So I'll go live if you want to come on and chat with me. I like talking to you. Okay. And I let you talk to Jake now.
All right. Sounds
Thank
good,
you,
Bob.
Jake.
Well, you know, I have my own YouTube show. If I'm awake, I'm going live. Unless Jake has a show, Bobby.
All right, Gary. What's on your mind?
Okay, I got a couple things. First, y'all are far too emotional. We just lost to the best team in the league on a neutral site, record-wise, 5-0, best record in the league, by 6 points. When your quarterback had, I don't know, has he ever had a 3-interception game before his whole entire life?
He's
he
had
had
a few.
worst
The
game?
last
All
one
right.
was against the Lions his last year in Green Bay.
All right. Like, this is a very rare thing. He used to have seasons where he'd throw like 3-4 interceptions. It's probably not going to keep happening. Okay. He's probably not going to throw 3 interceptions ever again as long as he lives in the rest of his professional career. Probably not going to happen. So
I agree.
Everybody chill out, right? Like, I didn't want to be a downer before your trip of, 4,000 miles or how far it is. I didn't think they were going to win that game. I had a really bad feeling. I don't be like, oh, they're going to lose before you go on your trip. That would have been a scummy thing to do. But I didn't like that game to start with. I did say they'll win the next 2. I said they'll go 2-3. They'll win the next 2. They'll beat Buffalo. I think it was Venom or something that said in the chat, I don't like the Jets losing 2 in a row. Buffalo's lost 2 in a row. Josh Allen was 9 for 30. Do you think Buffalo Bills fans are all like, oh my God, Josh Allen sucks. He's 9 for 30. He's not like, relax. Just relax. Like, y'all are far too emotional. It was a loss to a really good team. We're not there yet. And I don't ever want to hear, let's give the ball to Braylon Allen in short yardage situations again. We see how that works. Braylon Allen has 1 rushing touchdown his whole life. And
Hold on.
y'all want to take Breece Hall off the field to put Braylon Allen because he's
Hold
big.
on. I like the positivity until you said the Braylon Allen stuff. Yeah, I think you could still use Braylon Allen in goal line situations, but don't have Rodgers be in the pistol set when you need a yard or 2 yards in this case. It's really, and you're going to hand the ball off 7 yards from where he's standing to try and get the yard. Like, that was a bad play call.
Were they at the pistol on the fourth down run too? It was third and fourth. They was out of the pistol on both of them. Because I knew what was coming. I was so disgusted. I knew that was going to happen when they handed on fourth down.
But that's what we're talking about. Right. And Garrett Wilson wasn't even on the field on the fourth down one, which I noticed right away watching it. And I was like, this is going to be bad. I said it in real time to Anthony and big ass maniac Larry, who was 2 seats over. We were watching this game. I'm going to I don't have time to play it. The Orlovsky cut shows you why that was a disaster play call. I think there's ways to get Allen the ball in short yardage. That's not that.
Why not put the ball in your best player's hands? Like, this is the same thing back in 2003 or 2004 when they handed the ball off to Curtis and against the Steelers in the playoffs, and they got blown up for a 3-yard loss, and then they came in and hit the field goal off the front crossbar. It's like, okay, like, you put the ball in Curtis Martin's hands. You're really going to complain about that? You put the ball in Breece Hall's hand and you just hope for the best, right? Like, it's Breece Hall. He's your best player. If he's struggling, that sucks. But you don't take the ball out of his hands on goal line situations, not in the first quarter. Like, you got to put the ball in the hands of your best player, and that's Breece Hall, not Braylon Allen. It's not even a knock on Braylon Allen. Breece Hall is the best running back on the team. Like, put the ball in his hands.
Hold on. We got some housekeeping to attend to. J.E., you're banned from the show for a full week. I'm tired of your nonsense. He wrote in, Aaron Rodgers is hurt. It's only a matter of time until he is permanently hurt. I see comments like this. Guess what? You're gone. I don't have patience for it. And as I send your ass to the hole here, I just want to tell you, hold on, I'm stalling because I'm J.E., you're so lucky my computer's lagging. You would have been sent already. All right. I just want to tell you, J.E., that your butt is now officially on a stick for 1 full week. So if I see your comment appear in the chat, you're gone.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
It's frustrating, Jake. Like, every time the Jets lose a game, it's going to be the end of the world? Because all 3 times they've lost this year, it's been the end of the world. Like, it's just,
but I mean, Gary, they lost to Denver 10-9, and the quarterback for the Broncos had negative yards at halftime. They lost. It's how they're losing these games too. They're down 17-0 in the first quarter to the Vikings, and I'm sorry, I know their record's good. That's not the best team in the league when you watch them. They're not.
They figured out a way to beat 5 NFL teams. They're not
good.
Like,
they're good, but Sam Darnold didn't play that well yesterday, and a lot of that I'm sure had something to do with the Jet defense. They deserve for that
exactly.
But Gary, I understand the positive spin. In fact, I actually appreciate it because I figured you'd be like with JJ and Allen, being ready to celebrate this, and you're not, which I like. But I think there's middle ground here. There's definitely some real concerns with this head coach and coaching staff based on these last 2 games.
The goal was not to be in first place on October 7th. It was to win the division.
Correct.
If you win next week, you're in first place in your division. As bad as it's been, if you win on Monday, you're in first place in your division.
What are you going to say if they lose on Monday?
If they lose 3 in a row, I'll have a very, very different outlook. I promise you that. If they lose 3 in a row, it will be a very different. I will call Tuesday. I ain't going to call Monday because I ain't going to be no mood to call it on Monday. I will call it on Tuesday, and it will be very different. But I think they'll win on Monday. They've beaten Buffalo twice at home with Zach Wilson. They can beat him with Aaron Rodgers. They can beat him with Zach Wilson. They'll win on Monday. And then we'll be in first place in the division. And look, I'm not saying the O-line isn't very good right now. And I understand that Morgan Moses is hurt. Line is very bad right now, and it's frustrating to watch super athletes like they have in Las Vegas, Brock Bowers namely, absolutely cook and just be on automatic. And I'm not saying Olu sucks. What I'm saying is he's a project that's not really ready for this at the moment. He doesn't suck. I'm not saying it was a horrible draft pick and it's Becton all over again. Right now, he's not ready. And it's frustrating that we can't move the ball. And there's this maniac in Las Vegas that takes it to the house 60 yards. It's frustrating to watch. Like, if we had Brock Bowers now, it would be a very different season. And again, that's not a knock on Olu. But, you get a special gifted athlete like Brock Bowers and you pass on him in a must-win season for a project who maybe will work out. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's a lot to take.
Gary, you make some salient points, and you also have allowed us to play this.
Did somebody say Brock Bowers?
What a day these last two calls have been. The Salah haters are coming all out of the woodwork. The Bauer boys have returned. Crazy. It's all happening, folks. Joe the Jets, if the Saints win tonight, they might get Adams. I don't know about that one. If they win tonight, that means they're going to offer more for Adams. They're going to be able to fix their cap. I don't. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know if it's a crazy take. I don't know if it has anything to do with it though. Henny says, you know it's bad when Gary's talking us to facts. Super chat. I know players aren't playing to their ability, but how much of it is players knowing Hackett's play calling is trash and they hear the play coming in, they know it's garbage and morale just tanks. You know what? That to me is unacceptable. Hackett was here last year and Breece Hall was second in the NFL in yards from scrimmage. Be better, man. You know what I mean? Be better. I don't buy that. I think players got to play. We can't blame Hackett for everything, right? It's not Hackett's fault. Sauce Gardner's dropping an interception in the end zone. Sauce is on defense. Catch the football. All right. Indomitable and Nick are our last two callers because I'm extending the show because I know both these fine gentlemen, but I got to go to the Bronx. Indomitable, what do you got?
Jake, what's going on, man? Good to have you back in the States.
Thank you, my man. What's going on with you?
Let me tell you something real quick. Yeah, enjoy that Yankees game today. I'll be at Mohegan Sun watching it. We have a party over there, so I hope you enjoy the game live. So that way we can offset the cruelty we had to go through yesterday. I have a quick point. One of the most frustrating things that I keep stressing about our coaching staff and their ineptitude is that they think that as a fan base, we are stupid or we are dumb. I mean, it's like everybody in the world, I mean, for God's sake, aliens in Mars can see things and they can't see it. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example real quick. My brother, he's a Packers fan. So basically for the last 30 years, when I haven't been watching the Jets, I've been watching the Packers. So, you know, I'm familiarized. I've watched their 2 Super Bowls, etc. So a common denominator that I saw with Rodgers' tenure with the Packers is the heavy utilization of the tight end position. You can go Bubba Franks, Jamarco Finley, Marcellus Bennett, Marcellus Lewis. You go on, Jimmy Graham. Many good tight ends had good seasons and were involved heavily in the offense with Aaron Rodgers. And my question is to you, why am I seeing Brendan Bates, a guy that should be working on a shipyard right now, playing more than Ruckert? And sometimes it feels that he's playing more than Conklin. Tyler Conklin, let's not forget, he was a Pro Bowl caliber tight end with the Vikings. Rucker excelled at Ohio State. Why are not we utilizing our tight ends in a better manner that suits Aaron Rodgers? I mean, he's in the history of the NFL, he's one of the most proficient quarterbacks on quick passes. I think it's like 80% with 2.5 seconds or less. So let's utilize the tight ends on quick passes out and involve Rucker and Conklin in the passing game. What do you think, Jake? Have a great day. Go Jets, go Yankees, bro. Love you, bro.
Hey, Domable, I'm with you, man. I mean, I played it, the clip of Brendan Bates, who's known for his blocking, by the way. Like, that's why the Jets picked him up. They wanted the blocking tight end because Rucker was going to be tight end 2 like Uzama. Conklin was tight end 1. So they wanted the third guy who could block. Maybe is Kenny Yeboah available this week? Remember, he was on IR for the first 4 weeks. If we're going to have 3 tight ends active, could we get Yeboah out there? I mean, there's no way Kenny Yeboah is worse than 84 you see on your screen right now. I'm sorry. Like, this is shit, man. None of these runs have any hope because this guy can't block a wet paper bag here. I mean, Jesus. I mean, what do we just woof? Sorry, it's unacceptable. One last call. Nick, wrap us up. What do you got, Nick?
What's up, Jake? Yeah, it's been rough. You know, I don't want to get into it, Gary, with the Brock Bowers garbage again, because you can't throw from the ground. and that's what Rodgers has been in the last couple of games. So, but how much? I wonder how much of this is, Fashanu. I liked him particularly because he's a pass protecting left tackle. I don't think he was in the one thing that the knock on him was his run blocking. So I wonder how much of that is him. Again, Moses is a great run blocker. So how much of that effect is Moses' injury? And again, Fashanu not being as polished as a run blocker versus him being a pass protector on the left side. And that was what they were fooling around with in preseason.
Yeah, also good fronts he's facing. Look, I'm not giving up on Olu. His natural position's left. I think he's probably a better right tackle than like Max Mitchell or Carter Warren, who would have been in that role if they didn't have Olu, right? But he hasn't been great the last 2 games. I think he'll get better. And I think what you like about Olu is everyone says he's a hard worker. He's tough. He's a quick learner. Like, remember how bad Andrew Thomas was for the Giants? And then now he's one of the best left tackles in the league.
I think he's just being mistreated by the position he's playing right now. I think he deserves to play left tackle, and the problem is he needs to play left tackle, but obviously Smith is there. So, the other thing to think about real quickly, I know you got to go. Aaron Jones was out the whole second half when we supposedly made all these adjustments on the run defense. And Ty Chandler is nowhere near the type of back that Aaron Jones is. And when you get to the playoffs, you're not dealing with the Ty Chandlers of the world.
Playoffs, yeah.
No, but that's my concern. Is again, we talk about coaching, but yeah, the coaching adjusted. The defense played better, but one of their best players on offense was out the whole second half, and that's a legitimate concern that great coaches, great teams don't have to worry about. If your top player is out, they scheme it up, they play it up, and they play to your disadvantage. And it's a concern. Obviously the team played better, but Chandler is not Aaron Jones. And last point before you go, again, to leave on a positive, Monday night, the division is on the line. So after all this garbage that we've seen,
they're going to win. I already know what's going to happen. They're going to win on Monday night. It's going to be one of those years. They're going to win, and then they'll lose to the Steelers, and the hell will never end.
And the reality of it is this, and this is the thing that I think I always keep myself grounded with, is only one team gets a bye per conference. So Kansas City's probably getting it, let's be honest. So everyone's got to play that extra game. So at the end of the day, what matters most is winning your division, getting that home game. So it's going to come down to the wire the last 2 or 3 games of the season. So at least we're in a position where, hey, 5 games in the season, we haven't blown anything yet. The division,
at least the division sucks. At least the division sucks. That's the AFC is mid. The division's not great, and the AFC is mid. That's the best news for the Jets because their play on the field, outside of a couple positives you could accentuate, has not been good enough given the talent they have.
Exactly. But it's the good thing is that it's happening early, not late when you have less games to make it up. So there's still time to correct it and move forward. So let's move forward positively. Cheers, Jake.
Cheers, Nick. Excellent call out of you. And I think that's a great way to wrap it up with the callers there. Good job out of Nick. Hit that like button. Let's get to 500 before the show ends. You guys are great. I can't say it enough. Hey, if you want some behind the scenes pictures from my trip to London the last couple of days, I posted on my Instagram at Jake Asman a bunch of great photos from the weekend, including me with Big Ben Roethlisberger. So give me a follow on Instagram right now. I'll pick one random winner, and we'll send them a Jake Asman merch item from the merch store of jakeasman.com whenever you want. Get all your merch, by the way. jakeasman.com/shop. Patreon users, 15% off item in the store. Once again, at Jake Asman on Instagram. Follow me there for your chance to win some free merch. All right, that's going to do it for me. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. For those asking about Beningo, bright and early, Joe B, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Film review with Fialco at 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So we got a lot of great content coming your way this week to get you set for the Jets and the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. I end tonight's show with one message to my fellow Yankee fans. Let's go Yanks.
Hey, Robert, thanks for taking my question. With Zach starting again Sunday, does he have any compromising photos of you or someone else in the organization?
No, that's a fair question, Jake. I'm going to take the 5th on that one.
What the hell is this going backwards bullshit? You don't go backwards. You throw the ball out of bounds with your big goddamn arm, and you go back in the fucking huddle.
No, it's a fair question, Neil.
This is bullshit.
Jose Feliciano, the blind Puerto Rican guitarist, can see that he is terrible.
This kid does not want to run with the ball. Are you kidding me? This is the shit I'm talking about. You bitch's ass. You did his ass on my damn field.
No, it's a fair question, King.
The third damn year we are seeing this in Naptown. He's not trying to win the goddamn game. You gotta be kidding me. Sit his ass the fuck down. I could have made 20 yards with that goddamn hole. If your quarterback cannot play in the NFL, they get rid of him. Oh, there's one of his 27 seconds. Oh, it's amazing. I don't give a shit. If you cannot play football, get your ass off the field. And walk around and wipe Rodgers' ass, because that's all you're good for.
And you're sitting here defending this bullshit.
If I see Zach Wilson go on that field, me and Lowski are going on personally, and we're going to take his ass off the field.
It is torture, man.
God damn it.
All right, thanks, guys.
I hate this team. I hate them. I hate them.